I thought we'd just talk about a few things like the Xbox Series S price and the Xbox Series X price that's
Yeah,
been announced, and then also about Nintendo's like the limited edition Mario 35,
and Zelda. Yeah,
the Zelda game
Well,
as well,
Game
the new
Watch.
Zelda game as well. That looks
yeah.
The Game
mad.
Watch. Ooh,
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I pre-ordered a few
that shit
actually
out
just to
already.
sell it later.
Look at this scalper.
No, literally, like I wanna because I know it's limited. I know it's an easy
Yeah, yeah.
money, and I know that I wanna definitely get one for myself, and I wanna see if I can get my copy for free by selling the other one for double.
I hear
Hopefully,
That's
you.
not really the
I
Game
know
Watch
it's
mentality,
a bit
man.
scummish, but I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's,
get it. I get it.
Amazon is letting me pre-order 2 copies, if not
Yeah,
more. So I ordered 2 orders. So I thought, fuck it.
sweet. Yeah,
I got like I think I got 3 copies of Mario and I got 2 copies of the Game and Watch. Whether they will actually honor it when it comes to shipping time, they might
yeah,
just
yeah,
cancel it.
exactly.
I don't know, but we'll
but you
see.
shouldn't sell. I'll tell you what you should do. You shouldn't sell it for 25 years. Just keep it sealed, man.
We have
Because
to
in
hold
25
it. Yeah, you
years,
have to
No,
hold
no,
it.
I'm gonna open my one and then I'm gonna keep the
yeah.
one that I want to sell. I'm gonna keep it sealed until eventually when I do sell it. But I'm gonna wait till after the threshold of March because at that stage it's gonna be on
Prices jump. Yeah,
well that's when they start
No, but you should keep
producing
it.
it.
You should keep it until the 50th. You should keep it for 25 years. By the time the 50th anniversary goes around, you'll only have like you'll have
No, man,
something that's
I want to. That's the thing in it. I want to recoup my costs as soon as possible. That's why I get annoyed. That's I'm not
no,
in the long
at least
game.
wait a year. A year. At
I don't
least
buy
wait.
this stuff to sell it eventually in the future because I don't think that far ahead, man. I'm like, if
Yeah,
I
no,
no.
but in
I'm like
that,
that money's gone right now. I'm like now I feel like I'm poor and I bought like multiple copies that I'm not using.
Oh
But
my.
so if I bought it and I'm gonna keep it to use, I'm like that's what money well spent, you know. But now I feel like I bought Mario All Stars for £150 because I bought 3 copies rather than
Yeah,
50
yeah,
quid.
yeah. I get
So
you.
you know
I
it
get you.
sort of hurts. It feels like oh man, I just
what do
got
you want three
bumped.
copies for?
So I want to recoup my costs as soon as possible. I'm not a scalper by any means, but
You're gonna
I
wait
just
till
thought Amazon's letting me do it, and everyone on YouTube just sort of acting like it's it's like it's bloody
okay.
what do you call it? It's like I don't know, it's so hard to get like the holy grail basically. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? It's letting me do it. Might as well. Anyway,
I think
yeah,
because most of them live in America, so that's why they get problems right
yeah,
now.
yeah. That's well, I don't know. It's meant to be limited here as well, so I don't know why it's
I mean,
being.
It's
America
it's sold out. It's sold
shipping
out.
is chaos in America as well because of the postal stuff that's going on with the elections and stuff too. So America's going through it.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's true. You might pre-order it and it might get thrown into the bin, innit?
Shall we
Yep. So
shall we think
yeah.
make this a regular thing? Like I've been trying to do like kick off my podcast for a while. I don't know if it's a podcast. It's technically a vidcast. It's a video
Yeah,
cast. It's
give
like a
it a time.
vlog.
It is a podcast. It is a
But
podcast.
I did like 2 episodes with my other mate, and then we never got a chance to do it anymore. And then I think every other videos we've done, it's always been like I've just stuck into my playlist of what do you call it? Like news, basic news
Oh yeah, yeah.
and game chat, and it's always been specifically to certain stuff. So yeah, I mean, let's just talk about Mario. I mean, on 35th anniversary, that was pretty
Oh, yeah.
much a massive blowout by Nintendo. I think
Came out of nowhere.
they've been holding off for ages. Definitely, like real world situation has caused all this all over the place. So they can't even get their directs properly done. They would have done all of this on E3. It would have been pretty awesome, you know. But
Mm,
it's a shame that they had to basically drop it like this. But it's been mad. Like they've been dropping, partner showcases, Indie World, and Nintendo
Yeah.
Mini Directs, Mario Direct, and then they dropped on Twitter, Zelda, flipping new Zelda game. No one knew
Yeah.
about it. You've played the Hyrule Warriors, isn't it? Like the new one. What's it about? Because it looks mad because of the cover. I'm like all about Breath of the Wild, innit? And I just want to continue that storyline. It's about the
it's,
calamity
it's set before.
war that
It's
happened
set
100 years
before this
ago.
Zelda. It's set before this Zelda, isn't it? 100 years before this Zelda.
Yeah, it's
It,
basically all the flashbacks you get in Breath of the Wild.
it's
Yes.
a prequel. So
Yeah.
in Zelda Breath of the Wild, basically, like all the guardians that are dead, the robots that are dead on the floor,
Mm.
scattered across the lands. Have you both completed that game?
Yeah, I've completed it.
Yeah.
I know the
Yeah,
story.
So you know,
I'm
like in the
still,
grass, like they're all like
Yeah,
dead across the
yeah.
land. Did
It's
you?
four. You get them in each location, but they've all come. This is how they come to be,
That's the
basically.
ancient stuff, but you know, like the actual guardians that are like the smaller ones, like they're sort of like
Yeah, they're friends. Yeah, it's friends.
the robot octopuses
Yeah,
scattered across the
yeah,
lands. The reason why they're dead is because they're basically remnants from the main war that was huge, like a
yeah,
massive
They
war.
tell you that.
is,
It's
is it
crazy.
technically?
Like we only saw in flashbacks, but they apparently they touched upon it, but they never actually got into detail. And now this story is gonna flush it out in a sort of Hyrule Warriors kind of way. I mean, I'm not for Hyrule Warriors. I don't fully understand what that game system is, other than just battling
Also, you've
huge
not played
hordes.
any of the Muso games.
I've not. No, I've not. I know
Oh,
Lovejet
okay.
has, but
Yeah, I have.
Like,
I
uh,
personally haven't. But the thing is, the story, the way they've worked closely with Nintendo, and essentially this is like going to be part of the trilogy. It's going to be Breath of the Wild, the prequel, which is this one, and then Breath of the Wild 2. So that's to me like the art form of Breath of the Wild. You know, the way Zelda's tunic is now this new one. You know, the way the way Link looks, the way Zelda looks. Like the characters are way more, to me, they're more way more interesting
Yeah, but
compared to like how they were back in the day.
they went that route because that the studios are overseeing the work. Now that because it's a prequel and it's a part of Breath of the Wild, they
Hmm.
have to keep that visual continuity.
I
So they
think
can't throw a different style out of the blue. So that's
yeah, and also,
that's purely
it's
because of
kind
the
of
story. Yeah.
tie-in. It's a perfect tie-in as well. And also a game that is part of basically that universe that's been established. Like Breath of the Wild was very well taken. Like a lot of people loved it. To make a game that explains what happened 100 years ago, from a marketing perspective, that's fucking intelligent, man.
gold dust,
Yeah,
mate.
that's a fucking like an intelligent move. Like, let's give a game 100 years beforehand and let you kill the shit out of as many enemies, and then after that, we'll release Breath of the Wild 2 at some point.
But
Yeah, I think it's more of a stopgap because they need more time for Breath of the Wild 2. Because it's obvious that now.
yeah, they said that as well, didn't it?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
said be
yeah.
patient.
Yeah. You can see that line. They
The
always say that line. Be
the
patient.
the actual the universe that they created, 100 years gap, they can do additional stories if they want now. They've got a nice little plate to sort of take snippets out of that entire 100 years
But don't
gap.
get too excited because remember it's a Muso game, so you're gonna get cutscene, but mostly it's about the combat and the chain thousand warrior fights.
Yeah, so what is that? It reminds me of like a
It's basically an evolution. It's the evolution of the strolling beat 'em up.
Yeah, pretty
Strolling
much.
beat 'em up died, and then the
strolling beat 'em
Muso
up. Do
game
you mean
came out.
side? Do you mean side scrolling
Strolling
beat
beat
'em
'em
up?
up, yeah, like like Streets of Rage.
Final fight. Yeah, yeah.
This was the evolution of it. Like when the Dinosaur game, the first Dinosaur was a beat 'em up, and then after they decided to scrap that, and they went with this new 3D view. You can walk around and take on 1,000 soldiers and generals, and then they made it more advanced as it went along, and they got the formula right.
So you
And
can.
basically that's what it became. Scrolling beat 'em ups came that because you had Fighting Force after that. You had all the rivals coming out of the woodwork. Sengoku Basara from Capcom.
Can
So
you
yeah, like
can you level up your characters? Do they
yeah,
get
and you can
stronger?
Yeah, you can level up weapons as well. You can put elements onto weapons. It's quite. A lot of people, I think, look at it at face value and think it's quite like it's not a fun game, but actually it is. Like when you get into the depthness of it, it's really good. Sengoku Basara, I think, does that really well. Like it's really easy to get into that. You can kind of pick an character, go through the entire story up. Whereas Samurai Warriors or Warriors Arachi and stuff like that is a bit more in depth, man. Those
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
they're a bit more advanced and they're a bit more complex. But with Zelda going down that route, even with Hyrule, the one that I've got, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, it's really interesting because you get a wide range of characters which you can level up and get different weapons for, but also the objectives in the game make it so that every stage is kind of different. Like in Element, it's the same thing. You have to control. It's all about control. If you get the control points, you'll pretty much dominate. You have to beat the individual little mini bosses to get total control over it. But it's a fun game. And the thing is, Koei Tecmo, which the company that's doing it, they've done it for such a long time. So then it's going to be good. Like Hyrule Warriors was really good. I don't have any negative words on that.
Yeah. It'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see where this goes because I know there was a rumor leak today that Nintendo were asking companies to make 4K versions of games.
I read that today. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's more warming on the side of the newer Switch coming out
That's what
next
everyone's
year.
saying. Possibly a 4K Switch next year. I mean,
With,
uh,
with Zelda Breath of the Wild 2.
don't hold your breath for
I
that
think
type of
so,
stuff.
man.
For new hardware, it's like I don't bother because it will come out when it comes out. They'll announce it when it's out,
Yeah,
and
true.
they're gonna eventually do it. I know, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up
No, but what's
waiting,
the
reading these rumors because there's just way too many rumors when it comes to Nintendo hardware, and forget it. It's like just be happy with what you got and wait for the when the new thing comes out. Get hyped for then, but don't bother getting into this rumor mill because man, it
Yeah.
just because it grinds away. Eventually, you expected something, and then the next direct happens, and you get pissed off because it's not there. And I'm like, you did that to yourself, man. Like, stop listening to flipping rumors and getting excited. Like they're gonna have Metroid Prime, and they're gonna have bloody Bayonetta 3, and they're gonna have everything in this one
Yeah.
direct. Like, sharp, isn't that the new
Well,
Zelda Breath of the Wild 2?
things
It's
kind
not
of
gonna
lean
happen yet.
towards that. Things kind of lean towards because Metroid, through the new Metroid game, technically has to blow people's socks off. So the current Switch hardware will make it look a bit shit. Like they want to probably show off. Same with Bayonetta, that was announced ages ago, and you're telling me you can't give us a little snippet by now. Something's up.
Yeah, I mean, then it's development stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Again,
just another sort of game. The type of game Bayonetta is, it should have been shown already.
true. It's essentially just a hack and slash, type of
Yeah,
game.
it should.
It's like
No,
God of War, old school.
yeah, they want a strong lineup for the new Switch. I think they do want a strong lineup for that powerful Switch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what they come up with. But the Mario games, like that trilogy, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
when I
I
saw
was
that,
waiting. 3D World. 3D World was it for me because that's my favorite Mario game actually.
yeah,
On
3D
the Wii
3D
U.
World.
Wii U.
Which one? Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah, on the Wii U. I played on the Wii U initially,
Yeah.
but like,
Okay. Yeah. So that game, I haven't actually played it yet because essentially what I did with all my 2D, 3D side-scrolling games like the Super Mario Wii, New Super Mario Bros. Wii U, I actually completed the on the Wii and I think on the 3DS and DS versions, and then I waited for the deluxe version of Wii U to come out, and then I complete that on my Switch. And essentially, I've avoided the Wii U like the plague because I don't want to get it. I just don't want to deal with that console because I do love my Wii. I've got like a nice clean collection of like quality titles for the Wii, and I'm happy with playing on the Wii. And I've got like a little I think it's a component cable that gives it 480p. It looks clean. It looks
yeah.
really clean. So I'm happy with that. And I just don't want to deal with that dual screen, massive tablet as well as a massive black thing that sits in the cabinet. And I'm just not going to deal with that. I'm not going to hack it. I don't want to deal with hacking system. I just want to wait until all the best games come out, and that was my last game. Like I was literally waiting for that 3D World because even though Wii U Deluxe, the new brothers Wii U Deluxe, I actually played the original one on the Wii U. Like my brother obviously had it in my my
Yeah.
family home, so we completed it. And then I completed it again on the Switch just to get my save file there, to have a complete game. But I never actually played the 3D World. I just avoided it because I'm like, I'm not gonna play it in your house and then not play it after ages and then come back and you might not file it, might not find it there. So I waited patiently, and lo and behold, we knew it was gonna
Yeah.
happen. It was just a matter of
Yeah,
when,
of course, of course,
and
of course.
they freaking did it, and I'm like, I'm so happy. Like, I want all
It's
the
the
best Mario games,
Mario
and I want all
Kart.
the best games from Wii U to come over, and I think that's it. To be honest, I mean, I don't know. There might be some random sort of niche titles that are not out yet from the Wii U,
Only,
but I'm happy.
only
Like the general public,
Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's only
Who?
Xenoblade Chronicles X that needs to come over, and then
precisely. So stuff like that. That's like very niche. That's not like what
no,
you
but
would.
they said straight out the gate that it takes too much resources to bring that particular game over because it was already pushing the Wii U really hard, and right now they've got too many things they're working on. Because remember, Monolith are helping out with Zelda too.
Oh, okay, they got
That's what
backup.
they did. They did the world. They did the world for Breath of the Wild.
Oh wow, okay. So yeah, they
It was
they got
Xenoblade
way too
Chronicles
many
X
things on
that
the
came
plate
to that
then.
job. Yeah, exactly.
It
So
makes sense. If Monolith helped them make the world, that kind of makes sense because that Zelda world is far more complex than any other world that they've created before that.
yeah,
Because
exactly. Yeah.
it is like a lot of stuff that you can do on that, climbing up random mountains
Yeah,
and doing all
it's
this
the biggest
stuff.
open world
Yeah,
game.
that's not an easy thing to do. And I think the thing the saying is wherever you can see, you can pretty much get to, as long as you like.
Yeah,
Think.
but the Xenoblade map was actually bigger than Zelda's.
Yeah, Xenoblade was a fucking
So
beast of a
this
game.
is another game as well. Like I didn't play
Ah,
this
yeah,
until
that
it
was
came out on
cool.
the
That was
Switch, and I was
okay.
like, "This is a
Yeah,
quality title." I'm so glad they brought it over because now I can say I've owned it. I'm gonna play it. I've played a bit of it. I'm just, you want to have the best Mario titles from the Mario
yeah, the
family,
3D world,
but
like,
Wii U I didn't own, so I was like, I don't want to miss out on those games. But then
mm,
Mario Maker 2, Splatoon 2 are essentially a reboot sequel. I got those on
yeah,
the Switch, and so I've pretty much got the main Mario titles from there, so I'm happy. I could have got Hyrule Warriors Deluxe, but I thought it doesn't look like it's one of my games. But now they've released a similar version with the Breath of the Wild style, and I'm happy. So I'm gonna get
yeah.
that and play
Yeah,
that.
the 3D
Not
world
even that expensive though, is it?
comes with a new game now. The 3D world comes with a new add-on, the Bowser's thing.
Bowser's Fury, I think it's called. It
Yeah,
looks
that's
Yeah,
really
it.
cool, very dark.
not expensive. This quite good.
Yeah, I mean it's still like a £40 game, I think. £40.
Well, all Nintendo games cost still a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I got the German version, isn't it?
Hassan, did you complete this Zelda?
Link's Awakening.
Yeah, on the
I've not
Switch.
played it yet. No,
You
I've not
haven't
played
played the
it.
Switch one. You haven't got a Switch, have you?
Yeah, that's it. There we go.
Man,
So, yeah,
watch my
I'll be
watch,
catching up. I'll be catching up with all of this when the new Switch Pro comes, man.
mate.
I'll be catching.
If you try to catch up on all the Switch games, it's gonna be like 95.
Trust me, I
It's
can
no
do
point.
it. I put 300 hours into Breath of the Wild, the original on Wii U. So,
The same thing with the new 3DS though.
Breath of the Wild,
With
yeah.
the, with the
Where did you
Switch
play?
4.
Oh, you played on the Wii U then?
yeah, I had a that's the Wii U. Wii U, I had probably all the hits on the Wii U. I had every.
The Breath of the Wild apparently wasn't the best running one on the Wii U, so it would have been
No, it
better.
wasn't that great. But it was alright. 720p. It was alright, decent, but it's just playable. But the game is not that visually amazing. But this Link's Awakening looks good. That looks really cool.
Dude,
Yeah, but I heard Link's Awakening had some technical issues with it on the Switch.
Yeah, I heard frame rate.
nah, a little bit. That basically used to happen whenever you used to change between the worlds. I think
Okay.
sometimes when you go through different areas of the overhaul map, it will
Mm.
basically yeah, it will struggle on frame wise. It will jitter a bit. But other than that, it was a solid 60 FPS, I think. So it was smooth. And it wasn't solid 60. It was basically, I think they had a variable because of that. But pretty much
Okay.
it hit 60 most of the times. I think there's a Digital Foundry video about that. It pretty much hit it all the time.
Mm.
And because they kept it uncapped, it allowed it to majority of the time hit at 60. I think you can lock it to a lower frame rate, but you wouldn't want to do that because most of the game is in the higher frame rate anyway. Watch my video about it. I freaking love this game. Like, I didn't know about the story. I don't know if you guys played the original Game Boy, but
Yeah, I played the
I'm all
original,
for
yeah.
I'm all for remakes that do it justice and bring it to a new audience, and as well as like give it such a good graphical boost compared to like playing on the Game Boy that it makes me want to definitely explore it. And there was just so
Yeah.
much charm in this game, man. I just absolutely love that game. It was so fun. It was such a it was like a very different unique story. It has so many Mario characters from Super Mario Land, like the the Goombas and
Taking
stuff like
essentially
that.
the Game Boy game, that's what gave you
Yeah.
that connection. Yeah,
I
so,
read that. I read the history about it. It was basically like a side project that some
yeah,
of the
yeah.
Mario team guys did, and then Miyamoto basically found out about it and just said, "Yeah, go on, do it. I'll give it the approval." So I think that's the only one that Zelda that Miyamoto never worked on officially, and that's why they had fun with it. Mate, you need to play. Have you played the
Yeah,
original?
no, I get it.
Yeah,
No, I
I
played it.
played it.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing, but obviously it's really cool to play it the first time because I've never experienced the story
Yeah,
before. So
in the graphics and stuff, it's good to revisit stuff when it's done right. When it's done
definitely.
right, it's still good. So
So
with
Yeah.
Mario, like the 4-player co-op just has you playing for hours. You probably complete it on the first weekend because you're having so much fun with everybody.
mm,
Mm.
Like that 3D Mario World is just like literally. I think it's probably the best Mario experience I had because of the couch co-op. The four of you together messing around, it just makes it so much fun.
Oh shit! I should plug in my bloody laptop. I just realised it's unplugged.
I think that's the only one I've not played. So Super Mario Galaxy is the one that I'm looking forward to playing again.
Galaxy, yeah, Galaxy.
Because
And the big argument with Galaxy 2 is Galaxy 2 is basically like an extra version of the game. It's got some extra things, but it's a bit streamlined. So if you got Galaxy 1, you don't need Galaxy 2. Essentially, you don't really need it.
No. Galaxy. You were talking about Mario Galaxy. Yeah, you need to play both. Both of them are amazing. Like I haven't completed the second one, but I've completed the first one on the Wii, and it was brilliant. Like you definitely need to play them. It's quite weird because Mario never does sequels. Like it's very rare for a 3D game to get a sequel like that.
Yeah, true.
Look at 64. Look at Odyssey. Look at Mario Sunshine. They basically just do a flagship for their console.
Matt, where do you stand on the quality of these ports? Because I know that bugs you.
I don't know if you see my video, but I was just like in nostalgia mode. I absolutely loved the fact that we saw Mario 64.
I love you, but I mean, now the hype is gone.
And the only thing I was bummed about is like the fact that I know that there's been an unofficial port to PC of Mario 64 because of like the backward re-engineering. They've made it widescreen, and I was like, just give me widescreen. That's all I want. Like, it would have been so nice if you had widescreen. Like
that, they touched up the textures, not to make the game look too new, but just to make it look refreshed.
I think they've
it looks like it's, and Nintendo couldn't do that.
I think it's work though, innit? Because you have to go back. First, you have to optimize the Switch.
Come on.
Yeah, but you have to optimize it for the Switch. So
you
depending,
you can't do it though. Like,
I don't think they wanted to.
There's been a lot of discussion about this.
Yeah.
I agree with Lovejet. I know what you're talking about. It's like with Nintendo games, right? How often do you see like the classic Mario games or the classic Zelda game just get ported? This is not like Sony where they port all of their best lineup from PS3 onto the PS4. The PS2 lineup comes onto the PS3 in HD. I've got loads of those, like the HD Trilogy collection from Ratchet and Clank. I've got the Drake collection on the PS4. You know, they do that all the time, right? Nintendo, it's like if you look at the history, like how often have they ever made a remake? They've either done like a port to 3DS or they've done something like that.
The time it's down to how they want to use their resources, how busy they are, because the Wind Waker got a lovely remake.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get it, but they do that for special ones, right? Like I seem to play that.
If they care, and Mario 64 to me is that game because first time, if you drag yourself back to the first time you booted that up, that hit you hard.
Do you know what? They know when they showed the opening and they had that press plus. Yeah, that was pissing me off, man. I was like, "Where's the A?" I was like, "Where's the freaking A?" This doesn't make sense. This was messing with my nostalgia memories. Like it was messing me up. Press the plus.
One remake. Right?
Yeah. So okay. So the thing is, right? Look, we talked about this. Yeah, a remake done like this is amazing, but the nostalgia that I have for 64, I don't have for this game because I never grew up with it. Yeah. But I did grow up with Mario 64, right? That was my console, right? So I know that if they change it that drastically, I would be a bit annoyed. Like I would still I would play it, I'd enjoy it for what it is, but I would definitely be like, it doesn't take away the original for me. So I would still go back to Mario 64. Whereas I know what they've done.
It's one for one. Like the gameplay is untouched. They improve the frame rate slightly, smoother. And then they make the visuals just buffed up. It's just the visuals. How does that not make the game better? That makes the game infinitely better.
If they made like widescreen, if they did locked at 60, that would have been brilliant. Yeah, but I think as it is, it's at 720p or something like that, and then the other two are 1080p. Like that is like there's the resolution boost, and the fact that you can play it on a HD system now is like wonders because
I believe everybody. That's why, because if you think about this, right? This collection is what after March you can't get it again, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about the limited That's like a big
Okay,
topic on its own. But the
Mario
game,
64 is a big game. That's why I was a bit disappointed. It didn't
yeah.
get a little bit more love.
Okay, so I'm slightly disappointed about the fact that it's not widescreen, but I'm not really disappointed about the fact that they haven't buffed out the edges, and like proper like do a remake.
I play 8-bit games, man. I've been playing
Yeah,
Kentucky Zero, and that game looks like
because
terrible graphics wise. It's
I don't
pixelated to hell,
because
I think.
I don't want them to lose the authenticity of the Mario 64. If they did that, essentially they'll be giving up on the charm of their original flagship, which they absolutely adore and they want to keep it going. So there's two ways you could look at it. You could do like a remake, like Resident Evil Remake 2,
Maybe you can have a mode where
or you can do a
okay.
port where it's come over. Now, how often do how often do Nintendo flagships even get ports? Like this is the first time 64 Sunshine have left that console. Well, not Mario 64. I think they've had it on digital.
Sunshine is the one that's never been played before. Again,
Yeah.
if you haven't played it originally.
And
Sunshine
Galaxy has been stuck on the Wii.
yeah.
Like these games don't essentially get ported other than like the Mario 1, 2, 3, and then obviously Mario World. Other than them, they've never re-released the 3D that often, like especially 64. And to hook up a 64, I don't know if you've seen the HDMI output
it's
mod.
missions.
It's like £400, and then it's like you're gonna get like a PhD just to install it.
It's not that bad. Yeah, I get you. It's annoying.
It's not worth it, right? And I've got like an S-Video to HDMI adapter. It cleans up the numbers, and that's about it. But it still looks not as good as it would have on a CRT. And I'm like, chuck all of that away. I've got the port on my Switch in at 720p HDMI. I'm just happy that they've given me the way to actually play it on a modern system now, without all of that jumbo-ness, right? And the GameCube and stuff like that. The fact
but
that
in handheld mode, does it feel the screen?
it won't. If it's 4:3, it won't. It'll still have the black
Oh, even
bars.
on a handheld. I thought on a handheld it would like stretch out. I thought.
If you do that, it's like those emulator games where it looks stupid.
Yeah,
But they don't give you the option to do it. I don't think it looks like it's always gonna be 4:3. I'm happy that they kept the original because I know that if they changed it, I would be like, okay, this is a game on its own. I could play it like this, but for nostalgia's sake, I'm gonna go back to N64 and play it how it originally looked. The way they've done it is so that for people like me, the nostalgia, that I'm gonna be happy to play it like for like, essentially with a upgraded controller, with the Pro controller, and I'm happy to play that and not feel like I'm missing out on the original experience because it looks the same. Even on the cover where you got the three Marios from the three different consoles, you got Mario 64 stands there with his pixelated fingers and it looks pixelated face. They did that on purpose because it's like they're not hiding the fact that it was 64-bit and a bit rough already. They are proud of it, and I think you need to keep that. Like I know some people wanted it to look like Mario Odyssey engine, and I'm like, what the hell are you on about? You can play Mario Odyssey if you want to do that. They've already remade that the castle, Mario 64 castle in Odyssey. Have you seen it? You go through a secret pipe and then you come out in front of the castle. It looks mad. It looks amazing. I'm like,
excited, right? That's what got everyone excited.
They could have easily done that and had the entire Mario 64 game like that, but that's what you got. You can enjoy that, but it won't be the same. I'm glad they did this because of the fact that I could enjoy it being the original game. But yeah, I mean, and the others are awesome. Like I could play Galaxy without having to have two bloody wands. I could do it on a Pro controller now. That's what you call modern day solutions that you're happy with. That's why I want them to bring over Skyward Sword on the Switch, because then I don't need to deal with
that was
Joy-Cons and the remote. I could have it all on my Pro controller, because the thing about this system is that they are getting more into the stable position of having more of a like the comparison, like the controller is now becoming less Nintendo weird, and they're becoming more like a standard Xbox and PS4 controller. So if a game gets ported to these systems, they have a control mechanism that's pretty much the same as like your casual normal everyday controller, without having to have different stuff. So the fact that they give you the two options when they port these over, and they give it a normal system controller layout, I'm just happy that they do that because now I could enjoy it without having to have an emulator with
Yeah.
like buttons all over the place, you know? Unless you enjoy playing with the original controllers, but I do like the fact
Nah,
that you can have a
yeah.
normal D-pad controller, joystick, and you don't have to fucking wiggle your hand. You can just use it as it is. Like
Yeah.
that to me is worth the upgrade. You know, I'd pay money for the Metroid trilogy just to have them all on a system where I can play with the Pro controller and not
Mm.
have to deal with the GameCube or the Wii controller for the other two
No, I agree.
games.
I agree.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
but isn't that the point? Isn't
you
that
get
the point of
you're gonna get it
systems?
though.
Again, that's the whole point of it. Is like to bring it to the new generation, to allow you to take advantage of all the new stuff and like make it easy for people. New gamers in, it lets new people jump in and like play that game as well, innit? Otherwise, you're just gonna have people that are gonna be like, oh yeah, I played Mario 64, but you have to go and use an N64 to play it. No
Are
one's
you
gonna want
asking what our favorite Mario gamers or favorite game of all time? 'Cause
Your favorite Mario City is Mario City 4 from the collection. Lovejoy, which one's your favorite? Like, is it Mario City 4?
no, none of them. I don't like Mario.
Oh, piss off! You cannot
No, I
not
don't.
like Mario.
No, I don't. I don't like as a game. To be very honest with
Where's
you,
the
I
where's the
I respect it.
end the
I
call
don't
with
enjoy it.
Lovejet button?
Remove logic here.
Remove Lovejet. There it is.
Yeah, it's me. I don't. I don't like. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not good at Mario games, so I
I mean,
enjoy them for what they are.
almost full stop.
Huh?
You're not good at Mario games. Like they're designed to be fun and
You're not-
simple. Do you not like
That'd be-
platformers?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, it's not that I don't like platformers. It's that I wasn't good with the initial Mario's and the SNES. Like I've completed Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey is a very good game.
Was the challenge too hard for you?
No, it's just I've never been good with the original SNES ones. I've not been good with them. Like
Mate, SNES one, man. I love the SNES ones.
That's
Yeah,
a great
yeah,
reflexes for the 2D ones. The 2D ones test your reflexes to next level.
but but the thing is, if you look at the 2D ones, Donkey Kong 60, the Donkey Kong and the SNES, I love that game.
Oh,
Like,
country.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
amazing. From beginning to end is amazing. It's just with Mario, it's a bit gripey. Like I just don't enjoy Mario as much.
Oh
Take
man. Okay. I mean, fair enough. That's your opinion.
Sunshine's good though. Sunshine isn't a bad game. Sunshine's really good.
Okay,
Unique.
That's the one
Okay.
game. That's the one game I haven't actually played from the Mario collection. So I'm gonna
Oh, you-
definitely, because the rumors came out like about maybe a year ago. It seems like I held off playing it on my GameCube. I held off because I knew that this is gonna come, and then it's here. So I'm gonna complete that game. This is what I'm gonna play over Christmas, man. It's like no Halo Infinite. Thank you,
No, I'm
Nintendo.
gonna go through the whole Yakuza series.
Thank you, Nintendo. Microsoft, learn something. Jeez, don't delay your games. You bring it out on Christmas. But yeah, I mean,
what are you gonna play over Christmas? That's a really interesting topic. I actually don't know. Like, what am I gonna play over Christmas?
I'm gonna complete Mario City 4. I'm gonna complete Sunshine for the first time. I'm gonna replay Galaxy 1 on my Switch. That's what I'm gonna be doing, man. I can't wait to play those games.
Yakuza, or maybe I'll be playing Cyberpunk. Or it depends how badly I play the new. If I really on it, it might be Cyberpunk. Might stretch to the whole of the year.
Cyberpunk is gonna be good. That's gonna be good as
Yeah.
well. That's gonna
That's,
be
that's,
brilliant.
that's probably what I'm gonna grab as well. Cyberpunk on the PC and try and stretch that out. If I get the PS5, then probably Gundam Breakers 3. I've got to complete that game, man.
I'm actually I'm buying the Yakuza Kiwami series. I'm gonna play the whole Yakuza series. It's gonna be a long one.
That's a lot of
Is that on
games.
PC as well? I think.
That's 7 games, isn't it? Or 6.
Yeah, well, 7 by November. The 7th comes out in November. Yeah. But the seventh is a new story. That particular main character's story arc ends in the 0 to 6. So it's 7 games. Yeah, it is 7 games. It's 7 games.
The new one's exclusive to Xbox, but I think they've
Yeah,
got on the
it's on
PC as well,
PlayStation
right?
on PlayStation as well.
Is it like a limited lockdown for Xbox?
It's on all of them. It's on PS4 as well.
What's the one called? Like a Dragon. Something.
Yeah, that's 7. That's technically Yakuza 7. It's on every console.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sweet.
Yeah, it's across from all of them.
I'm
But the
checking it.
next gen version is going to be delayed. There's going to be a next gen patch, but that's going to be delayed. It's made for current gen.
Okay. I mean, so that's okay. That's games that we're gonna be playing during Christmas time. What was the other bit about Mario? Mario 35 was pretty cool. That's like Tetris.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
Tetris Plus. The annoying thing about all these games is that majority of them are going to be limited. Mario Collection as well as the Mario 35, they're going to be deleted from the downloads option. They're not going to be available, and the retail version is going to go. Which there is no retail version for Mario 35, which is annoying because I would have liked to have a Mario 35 Battle Royale game on my, for online membership for you guys to have for free on Nintendo.
I don't understand why Nintendo will do that. I don't understand why they want to do that.
I can see why they're doing it for the game. I think
I know
the
it's
game,
anniversary, but it's a fun game to have to play online anyway.
Yeah.
It's exclusivity, man. It's to force people's hands to either buy it or download it, to give it an expiry date. If people get it before that expiry date and you have it, fantastic. If you don't have it after that,
Mario 35 is a weird one because it's like it's to promote your online service and it's going to be a live service game. So to have that always on there means to have people that are paying money for your online membership to be on there and have that game. So because it's a free game in it, so why remove that unless it's too much headache for them to keep the servers clean?
No, it's not a headache. I don't think
it's a Mario.
It's not a headache to keep the servers clean. It's like
but the other triple collection, right? The HD trilogy. Like, also, I'm really happy about Mario World coming over. I can't wait to play that with friends and family. We'll complete that. I'm glad that that's come over with the additional expansion. But the trilogy, I bought the physical copy. But why are they limiting it? Because generally, Mario games have held their value for a reason, right? Because they don't essentially port games every system to the next one. They don't do that Sony mentality, which would have been really cool. But at the same time, how expensive is Last of Us remastered on the PS4? I picked it up for, I think it was £8 to £12.
Yeah, it's cheap now.
Yeah, if you were to pick up Mario Sunshine before it even got announced, it was about 20 to 30 quid on GameCube still, right?
Yeah.
Mario titles do not lose their
Nintendo
value, Nintendo ones especially. But obviously, when you talk about Mario, you talk about the main guy of Nintendo IPs, right? They hold their values. They know the value in the IP, and to give it away would be for them sort of like, I don't know, lowering the value of the games. Even though they don't make money from the secondary market, the fact that they are not going to sell it indefinitely means that there's a scarcity. And again, when they bring back Mario 64 in the future for like maybe the Nintendo 64 online app or the Sunshine game for the GameCube app that they bring over to the Nintendo Switch, if they ever do, they can use that as a face to re-promote it, give it away for free, sell a copy individually for £60 on another system. They can do stuff with it. If it's constantly coming out on the Switch for free, for not for free, but for £50, you can imagine like the value. Would it go down? I mean, it will be very good value because essentially it means £20 per piece, right, of each three games.
Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid 1.
The value is a lot less, especially it being physical. So. You
know what I remember that? Metal Gear Solid 1's value at this moment for the GameCube.
Is that £12?
Yeah. No. Metal Gear Solid for the GameCube, it's nearly £100 or something.
Oh, the GameCube version, Twin Snakes. That's because it hasn't been imported anywhere. That one is
down by legally as well because the director was Ryuhei Kitamura. He redid the cutscenes for it, and I think just legal reasons it can't come out again.
I thought it's because of like. GoldenEye style.
That game has held its value, man. That game has held its value.
I remember I saw it in your house actually. You had that copy in there, but you didn't have you had to remake the cover.
No. Hassan gave me his copy, so I have two now.
Yeah, I gave it to you, didn't I? I forgot about that. Yeah.
Which copy did you bought it? But
I have the original. I have one that's.
He bought it on eBay, but he got mugged off. They didn't give him the real cover.
I gave it to him. He's got it.
No, that one obviously is better, but the original one, I think you bought, you didn't have the cover for it, and I was like, man, you should get a refund on that shit.
No, I can explain what happened. So
I would log eBay, customer care center, get that shit refunded.
But it was a good fraud. It was like, what's the point of logging against the guy when at the end of the day, what he produced was really good? Like, I'm not going to fuck someone up innocently for producing something.
That's
really,
no, that's fine, but you need to advertise
Yeah.
it that it's a reproduction cover.
Yeah, that's it.
I will not buy it thinking that you're pulling it off and trying to pull a fast one.
It devalues it. Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
nah.
you forgot something, Mac. The AR Mario Kart.
Yes, Mario Kart Tours, something. I mean, it's fun if I was a kid.
Yeah, no, it's expensive too, man.
I
Like,
don't have the space for it, and I don't know. I think it's just 2 players, isn't it? £100.
yeah, it's a bit nuts.
Very interesting. I like the fact that the tech is there now. They're getting, this tech looks very interesting. It'll be interesting what they can do with it, because imagine they can link up additional carts. So they release Peach and Toad next year. They release Warrior, and you can then combine all of 8 switches together, and you can play Mario Kart in the field with 8 different cars. Like, I'm just thinking out of the box. Like, it's gonna get mad, isn't it? Like, it's cool. It's like virtual reality mixed with toys, mixed with the Switch.
That's the whole purpose of it.
Like,
That's the whole purpose of it.
to me, this is more fun than having to put on the VR headset and try and get the game. Like, I would love to have Mario Kart VR, but like games in VR is like sometimes you don't feel so good, and the experience is a bit sort of like dampened by the fact that you gotta put a headset on and you sort of like it can be a bit annoying, right? Whereas this is like a new experience. You're not essentially gaming, you're doing a bit of both, but it's not VR either. It's like real life. Call it augmented reality, innit? It's like what Xbox was doing, augmented reality, where you essentially put on a goggle, but you project the VR stuff onto the real landscape. That's what we're doing with this new thing, like Switch is taking the Mario Kart game outside onto the real world, which is mental, but yeah, it's too expensive, and I want to see reviews. I want to see what they do. But I mean, I wouldn't want to recharge, carts. They take too long.
No, it's not for me, but I can see the fun for like if you have a child, like it'll be really cool for them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, if my kid was a bit more older, I would probably consider getting it for him, But he's not gonna appreciate it. He's like 1.5, so he's just gonna destroy it, and I'm like, nah.
He's gonna just fly into the wall and be like,
Yeah.
no.
He's like, look, Daddy, it flies.
Imagine siblings fighting over that shit. They're not gonna last,
They'll
and that's
split.
100 quid.
Yeah. I actually
And you
picked
want
up.
to move them for the rest of their life. They're gonna hate Mario after that because it's like, Daddy didn't give me Mario when I was a kid. Fuck. Fuck.
Yeah.
Trauma. Mario, I hate him so much.
So with this Mario 35th anniversary, yeah, I'm just thinking like, next year they're gonna have Zelda's 35th anniversary. So I'm like, all these games I've been talking about getting the Switch port remake with all the Pro Controller support. Can you imagine if they bring on Skyward Sword? Like the other, a few Link Zelda games from the Wii U, the Wii.
There'll always be missing. There'll always be one missing. It's probably gonna be Majora's Mask. Oh, that's me. Don't worry.
I'm professional, man. I'm professional.
You know what? To be honest, that's more appealing. You know that if they brought like the Link 35th anniversary out on the Switch, that I would definitely pay good money for, because there's a couple of Zelda games on that are
Which one?
must plays. There's a couple that I would love to play. The one that I would love to play is not Link's Awakening, because we already discussed that. The other one,
Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask,
the Majora's Mask.
Skyward
The one with
Sword.
the ship.
Are you talking about DS one?
No, the one with the ship. It was on GameCube originally. They went to Wii.
Yeah, that one's called Wind Waker.
Yeah.
I only know
That's
because
one of my
I'm looking at
favorites.
it right now.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I
So-
actually had that. I actually paid top money for that at one point.
Look at these phenomenal collections. Like
Nice.
this is awesome. Like, promotional disc includes 4 classic games, limited edition. This is in gold. Look at this collection. Like, you've got on here, you've got Zelda, Ocarina of Time. You've got the Master Quest, never before released, and then you've got I think you've
That
got
came out in the gold edition, didn't it?
I've got that one. Yeah.
and you've got Legend of
Yeah,
Zelda, Wind Waker, and on this one you've got Zelda 1, Zelda 2 from the NES, and then you've got Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and you've got Majora's Mask. So the only
Yeah,
game
Majora's
that
Mask.
crisscrosses is the Ocarina of Time. But the thing is, this one has the Master's Quest. So
Did you play
essentially,
Majora's Mask? Have you ever played Majora's Mask?
yeah, that was my first Zelda we played when we were
Wow.
kids. Yeah,
Huh.
like that was like
Really true.
when me and my brothers, we basically shared Density 4 in it. We were
Yeah.
kids then, so we essentially played that game together. So it's like you pass the controller over and you do a bit, and then you get stuck. Give it to me, I'll do a bit. All right, we go turn it off. We're gonna go to school, and then the next day we carry on. So we completed like that. It was amazing. I don't think I've ever completed it after that, like after having played it in a shared environment. But it was
Mm.
brilliant to play. To be honest, I've been waiting for a good way to play the Ocarina of Time. This would have been a really good way to play it, but I've got plenty of Zelda games to catch up on. So I've been waiting for a good port. Can you imagine if they bring over 3 classic games? They'll definitely bring out Ocarina of Time, but GameCube's already done it. So it's not out the realm of possibility for them to bring that
It's going
over
to be
next
quite,
year.
no, but it's going to be quite banging next year because the thing is, like a lot of people, they love Zelda, and it's 35th anniversary Zelda stuff. There's a whole lore about it. There's this whole iconology. There's this whole
Do you
sort
like
of
do you like Zelda more than obviously Mario then?
Yeah, I
Like
like Zelda more than Mario because Zelda's lore is
it's more deep in
massive.
it.
It's more deep because also in the unofficial thing, Skyward Sword was actually meant to be the first proper Zelda, like in the sort of history of it. It's meant to be the first proper one,
What's the unofficial
and
thing?
it's not this unofficial the
Timeline.
books because in the books that they've released, Nintendo have released. If the hero loses, then one timeline gets formed. If the hero succeeds, then another timeline gets formed. If something else happens, it goes in another way. But the problem with the Zelda timeline, which I don't want to get into at all,
Yeah, it's a
is
mission.
it's so complicated that there's no way to explain it.
But Skyward Sword does seem like the origin when you play it, but obviously it's not because you've
Yeah,
got
I
the other
heard.
games to predict it.
I
I
heard
think at that time it was the origin. At that time, the whole point of it was that it was meant to be the origin. It was meant to be this is where Zelda actually began from. But then, as new Zelda games come out, it continuously rewrites the entire.
Yeah, because Breath of the Wild felt like a starting point for me.
You could argue this, but the thing is, what gets me about Zelda is that I don't think they're set in the same. I don't think they're set in the same universe. That's
I mean, they
what
enjoy that. They enjoy that, don't they, Nintendo? They enjoy people debating over which is the first one, so they're never going to confirm it.
I think they officially released a book that had some sort of loose connection timeline of all the Zeldas.
I've
Yeah,
got the book
that one.
on,
But the thing
yeah.
is, even then, like people just say, like, you know what? It doesn't really make sense. They just did it just to put something out there. But essentially, they don't link.
Yeah.
If you want to link a story, you can link the Breath of the Wild trilogy. The 2 sequels, Breath of the Wild and Breath of the Wild 2, and the Hyrule Warriors game that they're
I
releasing
don't think Hyrule
soon.
Warriors is linked. It doesn't link to
No, the
anything.
new
Hyrule
one,
Warriors- the
Calamity.
new one does, but the old one
The
doesn't.
new
do
one.
anything.
So that's a trilogy. That's a story you can link together because that's like in the Breath of the Wild universe. But it's hard for you to put the others together. I mean, if you want to do
My
that,
favorite was Link to the Past. That's like flawless to me. That one was like my favorite.
see, I still need to play that one.
There's some dick moves
What
in
the
Zelda.
hell?
When you read the lore, there are some dick moves. Like in one of them, I can't remember what it is, but where he's successful, I think Zelda basically decides to go to Link like, you lost your entire childhood, so I will send you back in time so you can enjoy your entire timehood again. But in fact, she pushes him back into time to go through the entire fucking bullshit again, which is like, well, that's a dick move. The guy just saved the entire fucking kingdom, and then you just push him back into time again. And fuck his life up. Like, leave the guy alone. Like, he's done it.
re-experience your nightmare, right?
Yeah,
You can't change nothing.
Or fight Ganon again after you just beat him, and maybe if you're unlucky, Ganon will be even more fucking overpowered than he was before. It's just like
Calamity game.
blowing my mind here with the stupidity, but that's Zelda in a nutshell.
Yeah. I mean, also like like the what's it, Wind Waker. Such a beautiful HD port that they made for the Wii U, and to bring that over again, it's a simple port because it's a HD remake already done. And that's another one that I would love to play because I've got the GameCube version of that, but I'm waiting for them to do that next year. Hopefully, the trilogy of bring over three
I think that's
random
what was gonna happen.
games. And
Yeah.
again, like Wind Waker HD is one of those games that's stuck on the Wii U, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That
shit.
I wanna, if I wanna play it, I need it to be ported because I'm not gonna get that system. So I'm hoping that they bring that over, and I'm hoping they bring over the weird controller ones, which is the Skyward Sword, I think. Was
You know
that
what?
game?
I
Was that
think
GameCube version, or was that the one? That is just a Wii version,
No,
isn't it?
Skyward Sword is on Wii. Yeah.
I have
The,
a quick question about this. The thing with
denied.
the here with the thing with the Nintendo's hardware is it doesn't change as hard as what happens between like Xbox and Sony. So like Sony's change between the PS3 and the PS4, PS3 and the PS4 was a massive change.
Yeah.
Xbox was a consistent kind of thing. It was a PC. But with Nintendo, like the hardware, actual physical hardware changes are not, in my opinion, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but they're not that difficult that it prevents games from being ported over. Like,
What about resources? Though? Nintendo always need to push their resources to like, in a business sense as well as the games themselves. Because right now they've got no reason to do a lot of stuff. They're in the ball's in their court. Like they're making tons of money. Animal Crossing's probably the best game ever for them ever. So
They are
like
brilliant. They're brilliant at software. That's what they do.
They don't need to, there's loads of games like
they're actual games company. The thing is, as much as they're locked, they've never allowed their first party titles that they've made to go to third party systems. They, in essence, they're like the Apple of fucking games consoles. That everything is theirs. That they won't allow that stuff to disappear to any other console.
It is true. Like whenever Apple makes something, a different change or whatever, everyone else follows suit. Doesn't matter what they, if it's wrong or right. If it's removing a headphone jack for your own benefit, Samsung eventually cusses them and then follows suit. So it's like Apple leads the industry, and I think Nintendo, again, what you said, leads.
MP3 player. If you are so disgusted about the headphone jack being replaced, just get a fucking MP3 player. Never understood that.
A classic one, yeah.
It's just like, fuck.
But yeah, like Nintendo makes a change, and eventually others follow suit in some shape or form. Like look at a history of Sony. They've always like tried to replicate a lot of the Sony's Nintendo stuff for coming with the the Wii. Everyone laughed about it, and then they released two ones themselves. The Motion Plus controls for the PS3. Xbox did the Kinect. There's like so many things. I think analog stick on the PS1 came after the N64 released the analog stick for the 64, and then they were like, oh shit, DualShock, let's go. It's like if you look at the history, Sony has always taken like ideas from Nintendo, because obviously Nintendo are like market leaders. They bring in innovation, whether you like it or not, and then others see it and they're like, oh shit, it works, and then they try to release something similar. But Nintendo do it with their IPs, and they do it, I think, in my opinion, probably like the best way, because they have the games to support the new tech that they're bringing into the market.
Yeah, I agree, but I also think it's because Nintendo fucked them over with their console. I think it's just revenge. It's just revenge for like getting fucked over by Nintendo, isn't it?
So funny. That's so funny. So something else. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to have those games come over. Let's see what they do next year. But I thought something else you said about Nintendo. Doesn't matter. Anyway, should we talk about the Xbox?
Yeah, why not?
I think this just been a discussion about in general about gaming. I would say it's not really specifically about.
No, we said we meandered a bit, but it was on point.
Yeah.
It's
been good. It's been good. Like I could talk about Nintendo all day.
The Xbox is the issue here.
Yeah.
I'll see what you talk about.
I could talk about Nintendo all day. So I don't mind these discussions. But yeah, I mean, Xbox price has been released. What do you guys think? Is it affordable?
I think the prices are good. I think the prices are good.
price so good, didn't it?
499, it's 499 and 299, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
We were having
I
this
mean,
discussion today, innit, Hassan?
Yeah.
I think we know that they've both been playing chicken, but I think Sony waited as long as they could, and now they think they succeeded by waiting longer because now they can come with a different price and undercut Xbox. But Xbox knew that Sony are gonna eventually release their price after and undercut them by 50 or 60 quid or 100 quid or whatever it may be, right? So what they did was that they decided to release a secondary system, Xbox Series S, at, I think in the UK it's going to come out at 250. That's cheaper than the Switch, which retailed for £300, right?
Yeah.
So that is something different, and I've read the specs. I know you're saying that it is a weaker system, but I've read the stuff. They essentially have the same CPU, they don't have the same GPU. So
Yeah, of course. Makes all the difference.
and they have the faster SSD as well. So essentially, they're going to have the benefits of the newer system. They're just going to have a different resolution that's going to be scaled back, and that's not too dissimilar from a lot of low-end PCs or low-end systems like the Switch, where
Yeah, but don't get it
they
twisted.
water it down.
For the S, it's not what you think it is.
There's-
They're trying to clone the mobile market. That console is all digital. It will not have discs.
No, but digital.
So Xbox's famous backwards compatibility is out the window with that. Like, you would have to buy digital and everything, being forced to
No,
buy.
no.
It's an X Pass. It's an Xbox Game Pass.
I never actually thought about that. The fact that
No,
my
it's-
library plays that I put the disc in and it downloads the game on my Xbox for 360 and original Xbox.
Yeah.
I just realized even though it's in my library, I can't play that on the Series
You'd have
S
to read that
because I need to put the disc in. It requires the disc.
Oh, does
No,
it?
I think it will pick up from your account though. If
No.
you've done it on your other account, it should pick up that he owns the disc of this from his previous console.
So
But
what?
the way you got to see the Series S is like the Netflix of gaming. It's designed for digital only. It's
Yeah.
designed to use the Xbox.
No,
Pass.
you're forgetting. It's the Game Pass. Literally, it's to get the Game
Yeah.
Pass in people's houses.
Yeah, it's a box for Game Pass and enjoy. It's like a dedicated system because if you have a PC, you need to then download the game and run it on your PC. Your PC may be all weird. You may not have like a tablet that can play Game Pass because it needs to be like a box of some sort. This is the alternative to having like an actual console. Have a cheap box that you could just dump your things onto. It's like the Amazon Fire Stick essentially. That's for gaming. And
Yeah, I don't like that idea though. I'm
Yeah.
not a fan.
but it works. It works in that
For the
sense.
general, it's not for me.
What you just told me about the fact that you can't play your backwards compatibility games, that was just, it's a bit of a shock actually. I just realized that even though I've installed all of my games from my backwards library, like the 360 and the original Xbox, they are on my file, so I can see them. But when you play them, Lovejet, they actually ask you to insert the disc. It's not because it needs it to load, it's because it needs to do their check to see that you own the disc, like how current gen games are. So now I've realized that actually, even though you own the backwards library, you would need to re-buy the games. But this is not for me. This is mainly for people that have been sold on digital for a long time and they've been buying digital games. For them, they can bring on the digital games and they can bring over their library. But it's a bit annoying because, say for example, this is like the last generation of discs, the new gen, right? Because they've released digital and optical systems.
Yeah.
So that means next year, or the next generation, is going to have no disc optical media. So does that mean for someone but does that mean for someone that's always had physical media, with the exceptions of some digital media, that I would then need to re-buy the games that I already have installed on my Xbox that are physical optical media? In it, because I could put it in on my old Xbox, it would work, but on my new Xbox I need to re-download the game, so I need to re-buy the game so that it doesn't require the check. So that makes...
Unless you buy the series.
Unless you buy
but the thing is, if you buy them digitally once in that generation, I don't think you have to ever buy them digitally ever again. They can't fuck you over down the road and say, well, actually, you need to now buy this digitally again because we have a
Unless
new
the
way of
game is
doing
delisted.
No. I mean
it.
the fact that you have it downloaded prior to by inserting the disc in, because essentially what Xbox done is that they create the system where you get the game for free if you have
Yeah.
the original disc, by downloads the game off their servers, but it
But do you
requires a
still
disc.
need a disc in there to play it?
You need to put the
The
disc in
authorize.
there for it to authorize it to run the game.
Yeah.
So it records it as a disc game. So if I was to then try and get the digital version of that game that doesn't require the disc, I need to rebuy it again, or reinstall it, delete that game and reinstall it. Because I've got Destiny 2 on my PS4, right? And
Yeah.
I installed it with the disc, and then it became free on PSN. Remember, you could download it.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
downloaded
yeah,
it, added it to my library. I then tried to install it, and it said, "No, you have a version of this already. Please uninstall before you reinstall this one." So I didn't want to
That's
do that
weird.
because it takes like 2 days for it to install, right? So I just left it, and I need to always put in my disc to play the game. So I
Some
own the
bullshit.
digital copy. If I buy the PS5 digital, I can then download that digital copy and play it on my PS5. On my PS4, I
Yeah.
need to put in the disc. But essentially, you're gonna have two installs where you can't have them both running on the same system. You can't have a disc version of the game and you can't have a digital version of the game running together, one or the other. And if you have
Yeah, that's it.
if you have a system that doesn't have an optical drive, you're gonna have to essentially repurchase it, because there's no way for you to install that game that's a disc
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
Even though, yeah, because that's annoying. So that will mean, well, then you just get Game Pass, isn't it? And all those games are already there.
Yeah, that's the whole
That's
point.
what the idea is, right?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah. But then you got the Series X if you want to play back your games. That's got a disc drive.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that's
you'd
also
want-
4K.
they're
Yeah.
forcing the hardcore people to get the Series X, basically. If
Ah.
you're gamers like us, you would get the Series X. You wouldn't
Yeah.
bother with the Series S. Series S is for people that I know that like know about games, but they not necessarily know about titles and stuff. They'll just want to play video games. So they'll buy the Game Pass and just sit and play
To be honest, I envy those people that just play Call of Duty and FIFA and stuff like that, because they just buy the same game over and over again every year, right?
Yeah.
And they don't really care about keeping the game. They don't really care about
That's it. That's it.
they can sell it off again. The game, they're not bothered, right? So if I was like that and I wanted to play more games, but I didn't want to care about legacy, installing older games and having discs, I would just get this Game Pass, right? It will have Xbox Live, it will have compatibility with PCs and Xbox systems, and I can play all these random games whenever I want to at my leisure, and then I could turn it off, and I don't need to deal with discs and failing optical media drives. Like, to a degree, I do envy those people that don't give a shit
Basically
about
Netflix.
discs.
It's basically Netflix, though. It's essentially like you were saying, it's Netflix because people that do love film
Yeah.
will go get the Blu-ray Criterion editions of stuff.
So what I'm saying is that I envy to a degree the people that don't give a damn too much about the actual physical media, because they can change it, they can use it, and then have a subscription service and move on, right? But I know that I will get annoyed if I don't have the complete package of that Blu-ray film, with the bonus content. I would get annoyed at the fact that it's been taken off Netflix. I want to watch it one day. It's like,
There we go.
what the
There
hell?
we go.
So I would want
What about Game
I would want to own it, right? Game Pass. I know that if I play my game, my save file is going to be safe. It's going to be safe there, but I would like to have that essentially on the console at some stage. With Xbox, it's fine. I've got an Xbox Live account. If I ever do cease it, which I never will, I can then download it off the Xbox Live and have it on the console. But it's about keeping that data safe, because I know that they can take it away at any stage with Game Pass. I gotta pay monthly. I don't want to pay monthly for subscription. I've got plenty of
There we
bills.
go. Yeah, there we go.
I don't care. But people that don't
people-
give a damn, they're fine in it. They can do it, and to be honest, I do envy a bit of that. But at the same time, they miss out on so much, like the fact
Yeah,
that
once you're in gaming, there's just so much more you get when you get your collection up to scratch. So
like they
Yeah.
forget, like they miss out on so much because they lose so many stuff that they can't play because they're dependent on a digital system where they can pull a game when they want. They can can take it away, so much things they can do with that game. They can do a lot of stuff, and they don't realize that they're missing out on quite a few things by having it physically in that sense. But each of their own, innit? I mean, there's no issue with that. Each of their own, if you can enjoy it that way. But yeah, it's annoying when it's going to become forced to go digital.
No, but the thing is, I don't think it will become forced to go digital very quickly, because the thing is, you have to take into consideration that you have to have infrastructure and backbone to be able to deliver the stuff digitally.
The thing is, it's getting there. It's getting there. Apparently, the sales are like 70% digital now of games.
Yeah, but
Ubisoft
That's
released
because
that.
of Corona, though. That's because of Corona mainly.
Yeah, but
It's been like that for a while.
Internet, man. If the internet connection around your house isn't that good, what the fuck are you gonna do with a digital-only console? You're gonna be fucked up.
Oh yeah. Also, if you're streaming like from say PS Now or Xbox Game Pass, and your connection goes dodgy, you're not gonna be streaming at 4K all the time.
No,
it's gonna drop. And does that bother you? Does that bother you when it drops? Me, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Who wants delay in their gaming?
Yeah. So then I'm saying, then maybe disc is gonna be around. Maybe you're gonna have that double thing for a while if you got a disc version or your.
Maybe they'll keep them both going. Yeah, I don't know. I would hope they give the option.
No, I think it will remain, because the thing is, the digital economy is fixed by the games companies. You cannot, unless you have keys, you cannot get those digital games any cheaper. Like, you go and buy
That's a good point.
from the place from Sony store, it's full whack £60. But if you were to get that game by disc, you can get it for 20. Do you think consumers are going to be happy to be forced down a digital only?
Games will be hurt in the long run. They'll stop selling massive numbers in again. They'll have to revise the sales.
Listen, the writing's on the wall. The writing's on the wall. We are in a digital future. It's pretty obvious now because of what Xbox have done.
I think you're underestimating it. A lot of people jump in on the Steam sale, on the PSN sales. A lot of people jump in at the moment. If Corona didn't happen, most of Last of Us 2 sales, and same with Final Fantasy, will be on disc.
Yeah.
But because of Corona, they've shifted off. I think what you're saying is wrong. Like, I think with people that know their games, like the big games, like Call of Duty, people want it now, so they'll drive to their Tesco or their 24 hours shop to grab the copy.
No. This is where I see a lot of people just like want to just buy it from PSN. They will just basically pre-order it and download it prior to it releasing. Like the convenience of current people.
Not a lot of people pay 60 quid though, because when you can go to the Tesco, it's 40.
It's crazy, man. I've seen people that I know they bought like that the the Pokemon Sword on the Switch. They pre-ordered it and they bought it digitally for 50 quid. They basically got nothing, no cover, no nothing, no cartridge. They just basically pre-ordered it. And I'm like, for them it's normal because a lot of the newer generation, they're not used to physical media. They don't have that attachment that we do.
You're thinking that's Switch. If you think of the PlayStation and Xbox, you're gonna 100% have to get a hard drive, external, because that your data will be packed.
Not if you play games on PlayStation Now and Xbox.
But
Game Pass. That's all streaming.
Yeah, but you don't have
the big games.
Yeah.
Think about it. You got Amazon. You got Apple. You got Facebook Gaming. You've got Xbox. You've got Sony PlayStation Now. So that's like all of these game streaming services that run without having to download anything, right? Xbox give you the option. Yeah, again, Google Stadia essentially was the one to say we can give you internet everywhere, but they don't realize that people don't have internet everywhere, and apparently in America it's even worse. People have nothing.
No, but the service itself showed its cracks. It's not foolproof.
Yeah.
It's actually really bad. So that's what's made people realize. Wait, hold on a minute. We're not there yet. Game Pass.
We're definitely not there yet. We will need at least two different. Like 5G, we're going to reach in 5G. We need to be about 8G before we can actually before we can get to a situation like that. But what I'm saying is that I don't like the fact that this is happening and it's becoming virtually everything's becoming digital. But think about it. The way the industry is currently is, and the fact that these new generation consoles have actually made digital versions, The writing is on the wall. It's just a matter of time. It's
No, but
not.
I
It's
mean,
not if.
that's
It's
like
about when.
no, but that's like predicting anything in technology. You know that it's going to be all digital at one point, but we're still a long way off.
Yeah, I mean, look at films.
That's why I'm saying the fingerprint sensors were going to get completely removed out the phone, and it was going to be in screen. That hasn't happened. Fingerprint sensors.
And also one of the biggest fuck ups
Because
when
they flopped it a bit. I
3D
think.
was first introduced. Everybody thought 3D was going to be the business. 3D was
No.
installed into our televisions, and then what happened? That completely fell on its face. VR even. VR is
From big
Yeah.
dot. Like people jumped onto this thing like 3D was going to be amazing, but I remember when it came out, and I was just like, this isn't it, man. This isn't the right way for the industry to go. Like when HDR 4K came out, you knew straight away that they were like 3D was a gimmick, and people bought into that gimmick and wasted money on it. Who the fuck wants to watch television in 3D? I don't want to fucking watch television in 3D. I want to see a crystal clear picture at 4K.
Yeah.
I want the colors to be true. I want to be able to game in that. I don't want to like
3D and VR headsets. When you think you're gonna
Yeah.
put stuff on your face, it all splits the market. Not everyone can get on board. Some people get sick. Some people don't. Some people don't like it.
Battle Royale has been going on for a long time. It's gonna crack at one point because that's always with gaming. The massive trend hits and then it will fall off. Something will come to replace it.
Four Guys.
Fortnite's been dominated for ages. Fall Guys is coming. I don't think Fortnite will be beaten by Fall Guys.
Four
Guys-
Guys. Four Guys is picking up steam. Everyone's
It's
talking about it, and
okay.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
what is
no, but
it?
then even Spellbreak just came out, and that's got 2 million people within a couple weeks. Well, first week. So it's like there's always something that's coming to steal attention. But
Yeah.
I think discs will always be around because of the people that we are.
I would
if
hope,
it's
I would
not
hope
this,
so.
The medium will change. The medium will change to cards. Like what they did with the Switch, where you can have the cards. The medium can change.
But think about
It's
it. You
not-
see,
If
Because
it
remember,
changes,
games themselves are getting bigger as well. Like, imagine a massive AAA game. A lot of the time, they're going to need some form of media to get to you. Like streaming that along, we don't have to take.
you're forgetting like consoles. I'm sorry, publishers, right? They actually prefer digital because they keep all of the money.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Whereas on the second-hand market or
They're not-
DVDs
they're not in it.
or games, they essentially have to give a cut to the store and to print it on the disc. They need to give a cut to the console and stuff like that.
My point is, the writing's on the wall, though. Once you hit,
The consoles and publishers and also actual Microsoft stuff like that, they prefer it to be digital because they keep all the money. Now, we would definitely, they would like that and they would definitely want to push that. So it's no question that they don't want to do that. It's just a case of the fact that they have to give discs because people are going up in arms and slowly it's becoming less and less.
it's not that,
relevant. People
Not
don't
that,
care. People don't care. And it's
It's
surprising.
It's Fortnite. It's Fortnite. Basically, all those Fortnites and battle royales have ruined everything because the focus now is not even about whether or not they want to sell you digitally. It's that games as a service is the focus right now.
Games as a service is beyond digital. It's basically
No, but
not
that's
even
the
having a game that can ever be
Yeah, but
offline.
that's
It
what-
needs to
that's
be
what-
active.
If you go to the kids, that's what they care about. They don't
Yeah.
care about what we cared about. Having the
There is
you
no
have
way
to-
to even physically own a game that's a game of service because if you
Yeah,
have
but that's
if
the
you have that,
thing.
eventually when the servers go down, it will die. A game of a service is
Okay,
basically
but
meant is that
The
it needs to
service
be
is
alive.
the biggest business right now because it makes them the most money.
Look at
Well,
look at
Fortnite-
Ubisoft.
Fortnite-
All of the games are
though.
games as a
It's not
service.
complete
It's annoying.
game, though, is it? Fortnite's not a complete game though, and they still managed to make so much money from it. It's
That's
not-
why we need to
Fortnite
break
does
them
have
up.
does have a full game on there, but they just decided to play the battle royale version and it became more popular because it was free.
Yeah, but that's why Sony are always good to have around because they always smash that barrier because all the companies have been pushing games as a service. Even Halo's going that way. But then Sony
It's so nice to have that, that sort
the
of like
single player big
range
game.
to play
Sony will come out
to play a good one player game basically.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I mean. Yeah,
I want to
so Sony-
experience the third person, action game, whatever. I want to experience the first person action game. You want that story. Like even Destiny is amazing, but it's also a sort of games as a service.
Microtransactions,
Yeah,
Once they shut it down, you can't play that disc. What's the point?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
it's,
look at Cyberpunk. That's the biggest game this year. Like, arguably, it's going to be the biggest game this year. It's a single-player game,
No.
and it's
Mario All Star 3D Collection, biggest game.
It's Cyberpunk, man. Whether you like it or not, it's Cyberpunk. But
Cyberpunk's been like 2013. It's been like, I've been calculated about 7 or 8 years since it's
yeah,
been
everyone's been
announced.
anticipating
That's
this, man.
mad, man. I feel sorry for the guys that actually waited all that long. I only knew about it for the last year and a
Been
bit.
past the building 5 times.
Last year.
Yeah.
So for me, I've been waiting for a
I
year.
knew about it at the beginning. As soon as I started talking
You
about the
guys
game,
and the other mates of mine,
Yeah.
they've been waiting on it since day one. So I'm like, I feel sorry for you guys
It's
because
a good
that must have been
company.
a grind.
Yeah.
That must have been a torturous grind.
CD Projekt Red is a CD Projekt Red game. They're well known for making decent games. The delays haven't been met with up in arms. People are like looking forward to it. In Poland, especially, everyone's like, "Fuck!" Like we can't wait for it to come out because it's a Polish company like that's produced it. And also, there's no microtransactions in there. There's no pay to win. There's no, in Destiny and other games, you can do that. Like microtransactions has just become the absolute abhorrent of our.
yeah.
It's become the worst thing in the world. But
That's why I'm a bit disappointed that Halo's gone that route. I thought obviously they're copying Destiny. They want to match Destiny, but I was a bit disappointed that Halo went that route. I thought they were going to stick to their guns and make it just a game.
no, they had to. I think they had to. Halo Infinite is too much of a big of an opportunity to pass. And also
Halo,
for money coming in.
with Microsoft, the way they're wanting to be on every platform, for them it makes sense to have the multiplayer aspect of it be like a Fortnite, to be battle royale, or sorry, not to be battle royale, to be games as a service and free.
Mm.
If they did that, it means that they're getting what they want, which is basically all eyes on their IPs and all eyes on Game Pass, because essentially you can get it anywhere. So that's fine. I think the campaign is always going to be exclusive to, like, you got to buy the disc, buy the game.
So what's xCloud?
What's xCloud? That's cloud gaming. That's like streaming.
That's what they're going to push next, right? That's their next big thing to push, right?
It's already out. It's already out. It's on Android,
Oh,
phones,
It's the
Xbox,
kill Stadia.
and
It's
they're
the
going
kill
to bring it on the
Stadia.
PC. Microsoft. So I was talking about you know what we discussed about last time, like, how they're gonna count the success of a new generation console, right? It's gonna be really hard to do because PlayStation are gonna be counting the sales of their console and how many units sold, like the PS4 over 100 mil, yeah. Whereas Xbox are going to be counting subscriptions. They're going to be counting subscriptions to Game Pass, and they're going to be counting I think Game Pass and xCloud, they're basically joined together. So it's basically Game Pass Ultimate is what they're going to be counting. So for them, it's all about subscriptions. They're going to be counting that, and they said that their main competitor is Google Stadia and Amazon. So their competition is now these type of huge juggernaut game streaming services, and the cloud gaming.
Amazon makes sense because Amazon have more financial firepower than that. Also,
but I mean, remember, they're only listing them as the rivals now because that's what exists in the market right now.
And Nintendo are doing their own thing, so they have their own competitors, like, which is like essentially is like they are dominant in the handheld market, and they've cornered that market. No one else has. People have tried.
No worries. Nintendo with the Switch, they did it right. They got it right. They've got no worries.
They're a bit of a wild card still, because I don't know what they are gonna do. They're gonna probably ride the Switch wave and maybe make a Switch 2. But they said it themselves. I remember there was like a president, the Nintendo president talked about it, that they said that the future is forever changing, and they're gonna change depending on how they see the world changing in tech. So they're not fully sure, but they definitely don't have the infrastructure for any form of cloud gaming. They don't have that. So
they have to be their next console.
And Sony have actually bought
with Amazon though. They can easily partner with Amazon. You have to remember something.
They won't partner with
Amazon. They won't partner. They're too stuck in
their ways. Partner with anyone
other than Nintendo.
Come on, look. Nintendo could have easily got help for their online, but for years they've just been going at it alone.
Say, I found out, like, Sony, they actually bought a huge section of Azure, which is Microsoft's gaming sort of farm, like, the cloud farm, their cloud server farm. So essentially, they're selling it out to their own competition to make Sony have their own online service running on Microsoft's infrastructure of cloud gaming, essentially, or cloud-based streaming services, which is their Azure. Now, if they're buying out they're thinking about the future, because they know that Microsoft pretty much has the biggest one, but then you got Google who has the biggest one, and then you got Amazon, right?
No,
Sony,
Amazon.
no, Amazon, yeah. So okay, so Amazon, yeah, but Microsoft, they're not too far behind, right? So if they've been working on that, Nintendo could have easily joined that and become big. They might do it in the future. You don't know. Like they're question unknown. But at the moment, they don't need to, because if they can keep on building on the portable aspect and making it more powerful, eventually you can have in the future. It's not out the realm of possibility to have like a 4K or an 8K portable handheld with a cartridge.
You can't even predict. Yeah, you can't predict. Nintendo, right?
With that type of system, do you need cloud gaming? You don't, because essentially you're keeping the game with you. So
it's battery as well. You got to take it.
No, as in like in the future, as they develop, things can only get better, right?
Things get better, but the problem at this moment is that as great as their handheld is, it was anybody is battery tech. Battery tech is the biggest limitation in our day and age. Like 4,500 milliamp batteries, whatever you call it and whatever you say it. Technology will only get so far as long as the battery tech gets better, and the bottleneck is battery tech.
Yeah, but that's not an argument against their weaknesses compared to like Microsoft xCloud, because xCloud, if you play that portably on your phone, this dies too.
What I'm trying to raise here, and what I'm trying to say to you is, it's all good and well the direction that they're going in, and I agree with that. Like cloud gaming and everything is fantastic. But we have to accept that the limitations still exist with infrastructure, like network infrastructure limitations would still exist. 5G still has to come out. Once 5G comes out, 5G taxes your phones even more for battery. Are you telling me that you're genuinely going to be using your phone on 5G for gaming, knowing that your phone is going to deplete on that? Battery tech has to get better.
My battery's dying. They wouldn't think, it's because of the 5G. Like. But then also, last year, you'll never be able to predict that Animal Crossing will be the best-selling game.
That was a combination of the game being good and also the time it came out.
Yeah, it was. Everyone wanted nice gaming through COVID. Everyone wanted nice gaming through COVID.
Yeah, but I don't understand what's appealing, but definitely people love real life, simulation. Like I think Sims is very popular in that sense. I don't understand it, but people love it. People like games like there's like another one about Work Simulator on the Switch eShop where you simulate working. People love doing real stuff. You know what I really want to get? I want to get Thing. I think I sent you the link. Flight Simulator. That's gonna be that's coming on the Xbox and that's on the PC. Apparently, is like powerful. I want to play that shit.
100 gig on the PC, man.
I want to fly and take off, and I want to land, and you can go to your own town. You can see everything. It's gonna look sick in 4K. Like I really want to play that, but simulation is like, people love that stuff, and I think that's something that I'm interested in, especially with Xbox having only that as an exclusive.
What do you think of Sony's situation now, though? What do you think of Sony's situation right now?
So okay, I don't even say what I was going with the price thing. I didn't finish it off. Essentially, Xbox did a really high and a really low one. So when Sony comes out after with a price, they're not going to be able to undercut them, because even if they do undercut their main system, they're going to be still higher than the £250, £300 Xbox Series S. So as a result, it's more about having the like the upper hand, just to say that our system's cheaper than yours. What are you gonna do? They can't do that. So essentially, because if they did, they'll go bankrupt, because they're Sony. Microsoft's got endless money. They know that Sony haven't got endless money, so they're gonna undercut them so badly. Like apparently the tech inside their Series X is like almost like you're talking about almost like £1,000 of tech or £900 of tech, and they're selling for £500. You think they're not taking a hit? They're taking a serious hit, and they're going to take a serious hit on the Series S as well, just to get it so low that they're going to just shoehorn it underneath whatever PS4 comes out with, because PS4 is going to come up. I think PS4 is going to come out at £600 and
the disc.
With the disc, £600, and
Yeah.
it's going to be purely because they're keeping it hidden because they know that the price is too high, that they don't want to basically chuck that into your face straight away. And then they're going to release a digital edition that's going to be a little bit less, maybe like 450, um,
Yeah,
or
but you
400. Yeah,
no, 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 no,
they're never
but
going to be below the £300, which is what Xbox have
No,
done.
we've always had this situation where Sony were always the more expensive choice, but
I think they were
ultimately,
always cheaper one day.
no, I thought that they're always more expensive than Xboxes. Xbox is always cheaper, no?
Maybe the 360. What about the original Xbox and the
it
PS2?
was expensive. It was more expensive than
Original Xbox was
the.
more expensive. That was like £500. Yeah.
I don't know what the first Xbox was, but I mean,
The
like,
only system where they got big headed was the PS3.
PS3 and 4. PS3 and 4 were the more expensive options, but they
Not PS4.
sold tons.
Original Xbox One was £500 with the Kinect,
Yeah.
and PS4 was £400.
You got a
So,
Pro. When the Pro came out, that was
oh,
from
I'm not forget the Pro. I'm talking about the base model. They basically were cheaper.
yeah, but the
PS.
PS4 was older, right? The PS4 was older, wasn't it?
No, same time.
5 years.
They both came out 2013.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
No, I don't think that's right.
Xbox
No.
One and
Xbox
PS4 came
One
out same
came
time.
later, right? I'm sure the
I
Xbox
think
One.
Xbox One came out afterwards.
You're
PS4
getting confused with Xbox 360 and PS3. So PS3 got launched a year after Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 launched so early that they had like the fatal red ring of death because they released it so early. But they wanted to beat PS3 to the market. PS4 and Xbox One released like maybe a week after each other in November, and that's how it's been ever since. They just basically just on the same day. They just keep it a week apart, but they essentially come out holiday season the same year.
Okay.
So Xbox undercut, PS4 undercut Xbox One, and they were the cheaper option. They were more powerful at the time.
And Xbox
They didn't force you to buy Kinect, and they didn't force you to be online, and then as a result, Xbox got slammed, and then I think now Xbox are trying to be consumer friendly, right? And they want to definitely show that they are giving you a
Xbox
deal.
brought out the Xbox One S to try and match poor people, like for people that don't have a budget.
It's hard to keep track of the One S and the Series X because
earning money over the subscription every month. So even if they buy the Series S, someone will buy the Microsoft Pass, and if it's
made some money. Yeah.
it's a net.
I want to know. No, but I want to know in terms of like price translation. Did Sony smash them because of the PS Plus and because of the amount of units they've shot off? The PS4 just sold too much.
Yeah, I don't think the Switch is
No.
up to that either.
The reason why PS4 essentially destroyed everything is because Xbox fell over on the beginning. They basically came out with all this. Have you seen the E3 with the original owner?
This was
that guy basically said if you want to have a system that's not online, get the 360. To people that like say don't have, because that system required you to be online initially. They pulled everything back before launch, but essentially they came out with such basic digital values, and they basically forced everybody to be like, you can't have a disc, it just be all digital, and you can't borrow games. And then PS4 were like, this is how I lend a game to my friend. Here you go. They did all of that stuff, whereas Xbox couldn't do that. Remember, they had all this digital coding. Basically, what's it called? DRM. Yeah. DRM is the digital something that basically essentially prevents you from doing piracy. The computer checks in to see that it's legit. The Kinect would actually do that every like couple of weeks or something. Essentially, you had to be online, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, the Kinect's gonna be following me. It's gonna be watching me." People hated the Xbox, and that's why they changed their ways and they paid for it because PS4
but the Sony one was obviously because of the titles as well. Sony had those.
Also,
titles.
PS4 was more cheaper and it was more powerful than the original Xbox One. There's a bunch of stuff, man.
The titles mainly though. Sony's always won because of the games. That's why Sony's dominated. It's not because the controller's shit. The DualShock 4 I don't like. I prefer the PS4.
Xbox 360 had a lot of good games and a lot of exclusives. But the thing is, they dropped the ball on the Xbox One. They decided to be all like, oh, we can watch TV with your dual TV is Sky
Yeah,
with
yeah.
your Xbox
No,
One.
but the bottom line is Sony have always dominated when it came to games. Xbox has not come close.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
that's
They
true.
not always. The
I'm
360 they
a
came
little bit of
close.
a fanboy. I've always preferred my Nintendo consoles. Like I loved my Wii U, Switch. But I had the Sony. I always had a Sony machine.
Yeah.
But for me, nothing made me want an Xbox because I wasn't a Halo player.
Mm.
There was nothing else. No one could move me over to Xbox because of the other titles.
Yeah, it's true.
But
It's true.
360
It's
is the only generation where 360 pretty much slapped around Sony a little bit. That's the only time.
Not even. Not
That's the
even.
only time. And that's what
the
Sony
PS2
fucked up with
and the
their
PS3.
console.
The
Yeah.
PS2. Okay, maybe the PS3. I don't know.
That's the only one PS3 suffered
PS3.
because essentially they put so much crazy stuff in their system. They made it £900, or was that £600? I
Yeah,
think.
but the PS3 did have some of the really big titles though, so you can't really diss.
It was just all to work with, though, isn't it?
No,
The thing was,
Yeah, PS3
the-
still had the titles, and I think if we
Essentially, I think what happened was that Xbox games were
well, the
easy
Wii,
to
the Wii
develop
won that
for.
generation though. The Wii won that generation.
Yeah.
guys,
The Wii was the top selling console.
What do you
I
go
gotta
say?
drop. Yeah, because I gotta get up in it in six.
Oh
and a
shit!
half
Yeah, God. Yeah, shit. Sorry.
hours. Yeah.
What's the time?
Carry on discussing. I'm gonna drop out though.
Alright, man. Take care, man.
Cool. All right.
So,
So,
you just
Cool.
block my name off, yeah?
with a black bar, we use that here.
Yeah, black bar my name, please.
Shall I
Catch you in a bit.
drop you out?
I'll drop out myself. Bye.
Alright, man. Thanks, man. Essentially, because the PS3 was really hard to develop for, games looked better. They ran better on the Xbox 360. Developers
Yeah.
preferred to develop for 360, and 360 essentially dominated. Even though they had like so much Ring of Deaths, but they came out in the market earlier and they were pro.
They overall make themselves though.
They brought a lot of
make
it.
themselves.
So what happened at the end of its lifespan? PS3 just won.
Okay.
It beat it by a little bit, but they basically dragged majority of the actual generation,
The
and
Wii,
then
though, I think the Wii
they
dominated
came
that.
back. We won.
Yeah,
It was
well,
Wii, it was PS3, then Xbox 360. But essentially, Xbox 360 was like it set its stride, and everyone loves the 360. Everyone hates the Xbox One because they dropped the ball on first-party exclusive content, and now they're trying to fix that by buying up all the studios. But it's going to
Did
take a
you-
while.
So, what do you think about the launch lineup? Because we can't judge yet because both haven't revealed theirs fully. But
I still think Sony has the better lineup, just purely because, again, they've been working on their games ever since the PS4. They've been doing bringing
I
out
hear you.
good first-party titles, whereas Xbox have essentially hit the reset button and they're starting scratch. So they are doing what PS4 did in PS4. what Sony did in PS4 time,
I
which is
reckon Xbox
bringing
will
up their-
only start showing their worth probably in 2022. I think 2022 we'll start seeing massive titles from Xbox.
yeah. I mean, most likely, yeah.
Remember, AAA games take fucking years to finish. They take years. Same with Sony PS5 games. The big PS5 hitters are not going to come next year.
Look at Metroid Prime. That's like they restarted that, and they're saying it's going to be at least 4 years. So it's going to come at the end of the Switch's life cycle. So
Yeah, and Grand Theft Auto already said the next Grand Theft Auto game will be 23, 24. They're targeting 23, 24.
I'm hoping 23, but man, that's a
They're
long way away.
That's what I mean. So, what's gonna win in the meantime? How can they keep people playing, man? Because there's gonna be a long wait between.
Also,
big-
I like the fact that Xbox and PS5, what they do is they bring two different styles of game. Like you've got the multiplayer first-person shooter mayhem games as a service on the Xbox if you want to go and play that, and I would say Sony have the more third-person view action story one-player games, which I love, and I'm glad that they still do that in a day and age where everything's becoming multiplayer and games as a service and multiplayer heavy. Like, I just want to sit down and play offline. I don't even need to go on the internet. That's how I want to play the game. Whereas a lot of the newer games are not doing that, but that's basically Microsoft's style. They need to keep people engaged in the Game Pass, so they need to
Yeah.
have games as a service to say like, hey guys, if you want to come over and play, Halo Infinite multiplayer, come to Xbox Game Pass, So they have their market, and they are also bringing things like the new Rare title, that
Yeah,
new
yeah.
Rare title looks amazing. So they're going to bring stuff because they know that they need to copy a bit of what Sony have been doing for like the last
I
10
mean,
years, right? They need to copy a bit of that because people have spoken and they bought all the studios. Now, Sony have got that at the gate. They're going to develop on that. They're going to hold on to their customer base, but they're fighting two different wars, you know?
but Sony's biggest problem right now is on the front of one, they have not even discussed backwards compatibility at all. Two, they haven't.
Have you heard about Ubisoft released the notification to say that their games won't be backwards compatible with PS1, 2, and 3 because those are not coming to the PS5. So only PS4
Oh, really?
games, and yeah, so it's been confirmed essentially via Ubisoft.
So
Um,
wait, because obviously, when you watch that TED talk with Mike Cerny months ago when he first revealed the PS5, he basically confirmed that yes, PS4 definitely, but he said up to 1,000 games, which are like the best 1,000 games on PS4.
he said
Which I
100
did
games.
1,000
He said
games.
100 games.
1,000, that's what it was. It's 100, but
He's
it's
a
probably
100, but to be honest, it's basically every game
100.
apparently. They confirmed that after. It's just that they weren't
But everyone was still
authorized.
jumping the gate because when they had that graphic, there was space to put PS3 and PS2.
What it was that there was a leak of when they do trademarks. So
Yeah,
Sony did trademark, and they trademarked PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4,
yeah,
all
but that's
being
probably for PS
all being part of the infrastructure of the actual chipset of the
now.
PS5.
Okay.
So this is officially stuff that they've actually dabbled in, and they know that it's in the background. So maybe they worked on it. And everyone was like hopeful, but it's been shot down, unfortunately.
Yeah, I
But
reckon.
I'm not surprised. I wasn't expecting it to have that. It would have been beautiful if they did it, but I know the way Sony have done their systems and how they've done it in the past with
It's not been great.
PS4, they're
It's not
not
been
bothered
great.
about that, and that's fine.
Sorry.
Is that they're doing their thing and they're concentrating on the newer systems, and that's fine.
Well, my problem with this is the biggest problem that everyone sort of highlighted as well is the PS3 in particular was hard to develop for and hard to emulate,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they've stopped producing them. So if your PS3 dies, if you can't buy another one, that's this that
What do you
that
do?
that console's gone to you. The classic games you have on it, unless they're digital, moved to digital already, which like one or two of them that I loved have been, but
Mm.
I've not looked on the PSN to see if all the games that I bought on PS3 you can buy again. But what goes in your favor is what you was talking about before. Sony have the habit of making HD remakes of everything. So more than likely, your favorite
Yeah,
games are
like
already,
all of the games
already
that I wanted from the PS3, I've got them now. The
on
Last of
PS4.
Us.
Dark
We've
Souls
been
is a
planning
collector.
planning 3. That was on the PS3. I got God of War 3 remaster. I've literally picked up all the best ones from the PS3
Yeah,
library as a remake. A Ratchet and Clank
nice.
remake. So yeah, I mean, I love that fact that they're doing that. But yeah, I mean, I would say the PS5 not having any of the previous stuff basically sort of just means that you won't have that one system in HD
I'll be
to
honest.
have
I'll be honest.
everything.
Like, when you play your PS4, I was on the fence of when I first got it that I would probably love to play my PS3 games again. I
Mm.
haven't done, and I've got about almost 30, 34 PS4 games now, and I've not gone back. So,
So,
in the argument with
so you're not
Sony,
even bothered about playing your PS4 games.
like, I've got my PS3 still on my shelf. The PS3's there. The PS4 games I've got 34 there. The backlog is massive. There's games I haven't played yet, which what I was gonna do was play in better quality on the PS5.
Yeah, you're holding off. That's why I've prepared a bunch of games to play on PS5 because I know
Yeah,
that
there
the
we go.
launch
There
time
we
is going to
go.
be a bit small. So I
Yeah,
thought all the games that I haven't played on the PS4 yet, or the PS3 games that have been ported over, I'm gonna just pop them onto. I've got the PS4 versions of the PS3 games that
yeah,
I really want to play, and the best ones from PS4, and I'm gonna enjoy them on the PS5. I'm gonna
yeah.
play the backlog of games that are gonna be compatible because of the PS4's compatibility. So that's fine.
But Tokyo Game Show is around the corner, so I reckon Sony will wait till then because they didn't reveal it today. Everyone was rumoring today was going to be the pre-order. That didn't happen. And Tokyo Game Show is next week. Oh no, the week after maybe. I think 22nd around that time. The 20 Tokyo Game Show is around that time. So I reckon they'll wait till then.
Will they wait, or will they just drop it on Twitter? No one knows. They might just drop it on Twitter.
Yeah, that might be it. But I think because of what we just said,
it'd be nice
they have to explain the PSN, they have to explain the backward stuff. So I reckon they need to do a presentation.
So one of the main things I want to talk about the price is that we know that the Xbox Series S is actually cheaper, but it's also slightly less powerful than the Series X, right? We don't know at this present time. We don't know if the PS5 or digital is different in power. At the moment, it's assumed that it's the same system, but one doesn't have an optical media drive. But they might announce it with the price. They will say that, this is your HD machine. If you want to enjoy 4K, get the PS5 Pro optical. If they did that, and then they have a disparity in the price, then you would be pretty much in the same boat as Xbox, because at that stage you don't have something like Game Pass to fall back on. So if you have a lesser powerful hardware, you're going to notice that for the PS5 games because it's going to be exclusive for PS5 games. Whereas if you're playing everything up into Xbox One on the Series S, the quality of the graphics are going to be brilliant because it's legacy games essentially from the 360 days and stuff like that. Whereas you would notice if like the new PS5 title was downgraded to work on a Series S if the PS5 digital was lower in power. So this is why I'm saying that at the moment it's been assumed that they are the same parity when it comes to tech. Just one doesn't have a media drive, and as a result they're going to be 50 quid less, and that's why I think that both of them are going to be higher priced compared to any of the Xbox stuff. Like it will definitely fall below the Series X, the digital version of the PS5, but it won't be lower than the Series S. Definitely not. It will be still quite expensive, and I think the new one's going to be £600.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, $550 even.
Yeah, and why people are going to be a bit like, oh look, Xbox is going to be like, look, we got the cheaper system to undercut you, and if you want power, we've got a powerful system, and it's going to be cheaper than your powerful system. So Xbox have designed their stuff and their strategy to sort of combat anything that Sony tries to bring to the table. So they're ready.
The only thing Sony can do is their game lineup. If they've got some surprise,
and that's the weakest. That's Xbox's weakest point, and Sony can obviously use that to and the fact that they've got loyalty with the current Sony fan base that are like the 100 mil PS4s that are sold. They're not going to be like, oh fuck it, let's get an Xbox.
But you got to remember, there's another weakness to Sony as well. The PS5 is actually not going to be available to everybody. It's not mass produced. It's actually limited in stock.
That's only because of COVID. COVID has messed up a lot of the production.
I could go on Amazon and pre-order it, and I might not even get it.
Yeah, it's funny how if they had the stock, they would just sell infinite amounts. But it's always going to be the case where there's a shortage. Every console has that issue where there's a shortage. I think the Wii had a shortage as well, where people couldn't buy the Wii for Christmas. The Switch had a shortage at some stage, and people were scalping it and selling it for a lot of money. It happens. At the end of the day, it's not going to be forever. It's a new system, so it's just because people have a rush for Christmas to get it for their Christmas present, and they can definitely make a lot of money from the sales. But unfortunately, due to COVID and production lines or shortage of parts, it happens, and they can't make a killing of sales. So you might have people that don't ever buy the system. They would have bought it at that time, but it wasn't in stock, and then they chose not to buy it ever again. But majority of the people that actually want to buy the system, they'll buy it eventually. So they'll make the money back eventually. But they lose sales in that sense. But longevity-wise, it's going to be their current system, so they'll make money regardless. So what do you predict the PS4, the PS5 is going to be? How much is going to be? Do you think?
Probably same with you. I think the disc one will probably be about 600, and
Yeah,
then
like
maybe
599 in it, and
550 or 500 for the. Oh, I'm guessing probably 500 for the digital will be exactly like the Series X. I think
that
if it's the same tech, it'll be 500.
I think now that the Xbox have released their price, they're gonna have to drop it. Even if they were planning on 500, they're gonna have to drop it to about
What?
450.
You think they'll sell that?
The non-digital one, and so the digital one with the no disk drive, they will need to put that at least 450 or 400. I think it's gonna be 400. The fact that because if they sell that for 500, Xbox is gonna be like, we've got Series X, it's more powerful,
Yeah.
it's got
No,
a
but
disk drive,
why the
and
reason why
it's £500, and your diskless version
Sony.
is £500, and it's less powerful, and we've got 2 teraflops more. What's going on, Sony? It's like it's not gonna look good for Sony to do that.
It's not, it won't. You're right. It won't look good. But
Yeah.
Sony's problem is that the SSD that they're using is a unique SSD, and it costs them a lot. So I think this is the biggest problem right now. Why they're quiet is that SSD is unique. It's not a regular. It's going to be the most advanced SSD on the market when it comes out.
Put it this way, right? If you had a good price and you were very cheap, as in like to sell it to the market, would you be shouting about it? But you haven't. You haven't said anything about it. You've avoided it like the plague
They must
because
have a plan. They can't be panicking right now. Maybe they are. We don't even know. We don't even know that maybe they are panicking.
no, maybe not. But I think they've known for a long time that they're going to be quite expensive, and as a result, they've kept their the lip shut and they've promoted other things. So eventually, when they do give the blow of the higher price tag, it's going to be softened by the fact that people love the games that they've showed. People love the fact that it's got a really fast SSD hard drive. All these things, the 3D audio sound and all that additional stuff that they talked about, is going to help dampen the blow of the price to the point where people are going to be like, fine, whatever, and that's their strategy.
Yeah,
if they told you straight away it's really expensive, people will be like, fuck this system.
Yeah, true. The new consoles are going to have a big problem coming up because I think I had like thingy in the background. There was a Call of Duty multiplayer reveal today, and they were saying it's going to be cross-gen.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Cold War,
Black Ops Cold War. Yeah.
They're revealing all the details, but they said it's going to be cross-gen. But what I pointed out was they said with the PC version in particular, it's going to exploit those who have the new NVIDIA cards. It's going to use all those features. And there's one feature in particular that's going to cause a bit of problem, which is the latency one. Because NVIDIA have put in a new system on the new cards that drop the latency. So that means all those PC players who have that card will have better chance to kill you than if it is cross-gen. They would have a better performance.
But I would argue that PC players have always had that advantage because they use mouse and keyboards.
It's better now. Like, you know what I mean? If you've got those cards, it's even more of a jump with the latency thing. I think it's a bit cheeky to let them have that.
I mean, they have. I mean, PC have always had the edge in tech, regardless. So this is the first time you're probably seeing it in actual cross-play gaming.
If you look at the video for the latency tech, like the jump is quite high. Like the latency.
But if you play the PS5 on a zero lag 1 millisecond monitor, would you get the same experience? Or would it still be? No, it wouldn't.
It'll be well behind. Yeah.
So the game itself is faster because of that graphics card.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something crazy, man. That's something unreal.
It's crazy. Actually, like that card enhances a lot of things, not just gaming. Like it actually enhances streaming as well, like your live video streaming. Like it uses Zoom's features, obviously with the unique
like 4K upscales it basically.
Yeah. Like it just
looks cleaner, looks clearer.
But what they found was with the power for this card, the 3090, they were playing 8K games on an LG monitor, and what they found was when they played 8K native, it only went to like 15 frames a second.
What do you mean?
When they played 8K native, like the raw 8K power, it only managed to play those games in
15 frames.
Like 15 frames a second. But what NVIDIA have, which is a big edge over AMD, which is weird that AMD is in all the consoles, but they haven't gone to NVIDIA. I think Nintendo the only ones that go to Nvidia.
Yeah, they use that on the Switch.
So
It's custom
basically,
Nvidia.
this is what everyone's sort of rumoring with the new Switch was with the PC, they've got that new feature called DLSS. So what they found was if you look on a Digital Foundry video for Death Stranding,
Okay.
they played it at all the resolutions. And what they found was with a weaker PC, if they switch on this new DLSS feature, you was getting better resolution in places than the actual 4K, the native.
Even though your PC rig is
Yeah,
weaker,
basically what happened was if you had the really powerful
artificially
rig,
made it
yeah, it
look like it
artificially
looked.
makes it, yeah, it does.
Oh
And
wow.
it makes, but what it does, it will look, what they found was that DLSS made it mock 4K, but with extra details, but it capped you, it was around 80 frames a second.
With
Whereas when you had native 4K, they could have got up to like 240.
Yeah, but that's like obviously you need a powerful
Yeah.
stuff for that.
But what they
But I
found
mean,
was that, yeah,
80 FPS is like way more than what you would get normally on a console because consoles normally do 30 to 60. They don't
yeah,
really go
exactly.
above higher, so that's way more overhead that they need.
And that was actually not on a, wasn't on a powerful build. So what people are rumoring, they're thinking if Nintendo make a competent build and just have an Nvidia chip and they use the DLSS,
Mm.
they can actually achieve those crazy visuals like the modern consoles.
Hey man,
With
the 4K Switch is rumored for 2021.
if they, everyone's crossing their fingers hoping that they've done it and actually have that
Could
tech
be.
in there. Because if they did, that's a game changer for Nintendo.
I do want them to sort of come out with a powerful system, and I want them to have something that actually has um, it would be really cool if they can do 4K just to get on par with every other system that's there doing 4K resolutions. It would be really nice if they can do that. Um, but mainly, I want them to beef it up just so that they can get 60 FPS out of games that constantly get halved when they get ported over to
And also,
Switch.
you'll get the choice. You'll get the choice of all those games that you go to your main consoles with. Like, imagine being able to play
Yeah,
Call of Duty as it
because
is on your handheld,
because
on your
people
Switch.
people stop playing. Yeah, that would be brilliant. Like you can bring over like the AAA games from Activision and EA in their raw form, just port it over because they can be comparable. But it's mainly the fact that like whenever like shooters come over, like Fortnite runs at 30 frames per second on the Switch, and the
Mhm.
PS4 and Xbox have 60 FPS. So even though they're cross-compatible, they have the option of turning off searching for people that are not part of the same frame rate. So the
Mhm.
Switch by default searches for players on mobile because they run at 30 FPS,
Okay. Yeah.
whereas by default on the PS4 they search for other PS4 and other Xbox players. So that's the type of disparity that I would like for them to get closer. If they can get the same FPS running on
Yeah.
both, then that means they can like if Switch was powerful enough to hold on to a stable 60 FPS, that would be enough for them to compete with majority of the games to sort of make it look like actually we're on par because at the moment they have to constantly halve it just to get it on the Switch, and as a
Yeah.
result people are like I don't want to play that on the Switch. It's like I don't mind it, but I would definitely prefer to have 60 FPS because I know it'll look better. But I understand that there's a reason why they halve it. Like I know, like Lovejoy didn't want to play Overwatch on the Switch because it's at 30 FPS, and I'm like, I don't
Yeah, but
mind. I
how
can
many
see.
games have I played in 30 FPS that I've loved? Like on, but I've got a base PS4. I don't have the Pro,
Yeah,
so I've playing Last of Us 2 on 30 frames per second, but it still moves wonderfully. Like it still plays really well.
yeah. The Last of Us is a different type of game though, and that's not so action
Yeah, I
orientated.
mean, yeah, I mean, like
If you
there's
have if
parts
you have like a first person
that
shooter or
constant move.
the I mean slower paced games are a bit more story driven games are a bit more about the visuals. You want it to be a high resolution rather than frames per second. But 60 FPS is more like you need that in fighting games and
I
shooters.
mean, even the intense parts of Last of Us, when you got the bit
Yeah,
open,
it definitely be a lot nicer. I'm not saying it won't be, but you will definitely notice it more in like shooters and
I guess because I don't play,
fighters.
I don't play a lot of shooters actually.
Shooters
I
and
don't know.
fighters, you would definitely notice that because you want it to be like as silky smooth as possible.
Yeah, fighters I've noticed.
Mm.
Fighters I know. Street Fighter 5, I played it on PC and I played it on PS4, and I know the
You know
difference.
the difference.
I
That
know the
yeah,
difference.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
no
definitely know
shame.
the difference. Um, okay, cool. So I think that's pretty much covers all of the PlayStation stuff and the Xbox stuff. We will see what the price comes out at with the PlayStation, and we'll see what they come to. But yeah, most likely it'll be Tokyo Game Show where they'll reveal the prices and
Yeah,
all that.
play your games.
And yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what they come up with when it comes to the competition between the two. But
There's gonna be a lot of Japanese developer reveals as well during Tokyo Game Show. I think Capcom will be bringing the fire. Some other companies too.
mm,
They'll be showing some new stuff. So it'll be good to see what happens there.
but I think with Nintendo as well, they've just shown that they're not sleeping on this. Like they are drawing people in with a lot of announcements, a lot of games, and
But
also they've
Hyrule gets more details on the 26th.
um,
Yeah, they
the
announced it
Hyrule
on the
Warriors.
video. Yeah, on the reveal, like they
Okay,
said they're gonna
cool.
show more details of the game on 26 on the 26th.
And obviously, they're gonna reveal another Smash Brothers character that still needs to be announced.
Oh,
So,
gee.
and there's more stuff that
And
they're gonna.
who is on that season pass? It's already revealed one, haven't they?
Yeah, they revealed. I haven't got that character. It's Min Min from Arms.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I need
Did
to
you play it?
download that. I haven't got Min Min yet, but I will definitely buy the package that gives me all 5 characters because I just want that game to be complete. So any DLC, I'll get it. So
Yeah,
I've got the previous 5 fighters, and I'm gonna get the next one. Just when I'm waiting for a character to come up that I want to play with straight away, and then I'll just buy the fighter pass. Um, but yeah, I mean they've got that to reveal. They've said there's gonna be more stuff for the Mario 35th anniversary. There will be more stuff to reveal. So they
she,
got more stuff to coming out, and so they're not gonna be. And they got a Nintendo Direct that's been heavily rumored. So they've got a lot of stuff to announce closing to Christmas. So I think they brought fire and people letting people know that hey guys, I know there's like a console war happening between PS and Xbox, but we're still bringing out good stuff, and it's gonna drive sales, with all
the
this.
Switch has had like a lot of titles already. Like
And the
it's
fact
insane how many titles it's got like that are
and
solid.
this whole limited stuff that they're doing with Mario is gonna also hype up the
Oh,
system, because remember when the NES Classic came out, the fact that it was limited and everyone wanted
yeah.
it before Christmas, and it got sold out and
Right now, you
scalpers.
can't get any of those now, can you? Without scalper prices, you can only get them.
Nah, NES Classic they re-released I think that and the SNES eventually, and then that's why the price went down. And
Oh,
then
okay,
now it's like they don't sell it no more, but you can still buy it second hand from Nintendo themselves. So
okay,
it's the prices have gone down 'cause
that's
they
good.
did a second run of it. But
Yeah,
initially it was just the initial launch, and then that was a limited time, and they closed it, and then that was fire. Like they had Nintendo was everyone was talking about it, right?
yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So this limited edition of the triple 3D games and also the All Stars that's coming out on the Switch, that's awesome. Forgot to talk
I
about
want the
that.
Game and Watch. I do want the Game and Watch thing though.
Yeah,
I'd buy the Game and
but
Watch.
the fact that they're making it limited is not only gonna cause a drought eventually after, but the fact that it's gonna cause a bit of a talk. Like everyone's gonna
Yeah,
be
of course.
like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, I only got £60 to
Mario
get this. I
Pack.
need to buy this." Like this is annoying, and I need to buy it straight away. Um, it's good because it means that I think they want eyes to be talking about Nintendo. They want people to be talking about Nintendo when all this Xbox and PlayStation wars happening.
Odyssey came out when? Like 2 years ago, right?
Because it
Was it
came
2 years?
out 2017, I think,
Yeah.
Christmas time, and the end of
So
the
yeah,
year.
there could be another Mario game for them to drop.
They might do. I mean, it's quite rare they do 2 Mario games on the same console, innit? I think
Mm.
only Wii is the only one that had Galaxy 1 and 2. But other than that, it's always been one per system, innit? I'm not counting like the side scrollers.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
but also with the collection, I forgot to mention with the Mario 35th anniversary, they're releasing the Mario All Stars SNES
Yeah.
version on the SNES
Oh,
app
it is.
for
There's one.
free, and that's gonna stay. That's for free, part of the like the online membership expansion to
Yeah.
the games. That was a big deal to me as well because I had the SNES version of the classic All Star Collection, which was basically the remake in 16-bit version of Mario 1,
Yeah.
2, and 3 and 4 1, 2, and 3, and Lost Levels, which is like the Japanese version, and then
Yeah.
they had one. I had the one with Super Mario World as as an add-on. So to me, that was more important to play those games rather than playing the NES version. I know people love the NES version, but to me, it's all about the 16-bit versions, and that came
So,
along as well. And I'm like, yeah, finally, I don't need to hook up my SNES no more. It's like I've got the SNES version of the All Stars on my Switch. So
the Switch online with the SNES stuff,
yeah,
you
so
just pay a subscription, you can get everything.
you've got the NES app and you've got the SNES app, and they've all got like about like 18 games each or something like that, and they keep
Yeah.
adding it slowly. You get both of that with the Switch Online
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
membership, which is brilliant. Which is why I keep thinking that the reason why they made these 3D Collection Limited is because eventually they're going to release the N64 app. They're going to release the GameCube app onto the Switch just to
Yeah.
get the
Yeah.
membership rolling. Because you know what's
Yeah.
happening after March. It's new term, new tax year. The
That's it.
Nintendo Switch Online membership runs out, and then just recycle it again. So they bring in a new system with a new game. And what did they do? Like I think when the SNES launched, they released it with Super Mario World, like awesome 2D Mario game. That's known for the SNES, right?
Yeah.
So if they
The
release it in 64, what they're gonna do with that? They're gonna have to show Mario 64 in it.
Oh yeah,
If
right.
they release the
Yeah.
GameCube app, they're gonna have to showcase GameCube version of Mario Sunshine, right? So maybe they want to give it a hype when they come out to make it look like actually I need this game and I gotta
Yeah.
get a gap. I need to get it online because if they carried on selling it, people gotta be like, I don't need to buy the online membership. I could just buy the game; it's still there.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Yeah. That's a
That
good
or
point.
the fact that they want to keep the prices high. They want to
Wait,
they don't want to
they have a cartridge version of All Stars as well, right?
yeah limited.
That's limited
You
too.
can
Oh,
buy it, but they want obviously they will stop selling it after March. So you will need to buy it in the second-hand market, which you know is going to go up in
yeah.
price,
Yeah. Yeah. I
and
mean,
you can't
yeah.
buy it from an official retailer. Anyway, man, anything else you want to add, or anything else you think we missed? But I think we've covered everything today. And listen, it's been
Yeah.
awesome. Thanks a lot for
Yeah.
coming on.
No problem.
We'll definitely be doing this again. But I
We
mean,
should do a Tokyo Game Show stream. There's going to be a lot of announcements that time. It's like
to a
two
game
weeks
show.
roughly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like yeah.
Do are they gonna have it over a few days, the streams, or it's
I
gonna
think
be
it's
like
literally just 2 days. It's going to be just 2 days.
okay,
That's always the case with them. So it'll be on YouTube. They've got
yeah,
like a logo and everything. So it'll be 2 days. We get a bunch of announcements, and then we can do it on the third day. We can just do the video. And then
awesome, yeah, definitely, we'll definitely get that sorted out. I do like this new format. Need to get used to it, but it's been good. It's been good, man. Thanks a lot for coming on, and obviously thanks a lot to Lovejet who's now left the call. But yeah, thanks a lot for his time as well. Really appreciate it. And yeah, you'll see us again on another
yeah.
video. Watch my videos, man. Watch my SNK
Yeah.
Arcade Stick Pro
I've watched
hack.
it. That's the one I've watched. I've watched both of
That
them.
is fire.
Yeah, yeah, you actually the person who made me want one. I didn't want it. I saw that, and then I actually want it. That's what it was.
I know
That's what I was
I know I'm spamming you with videos about updates with the high-low
I know.
hack,
That's the one
but
thing I
that's
wanted.
because I'm just excited. I'm at that stage where like with the SNES Classic, I waited quite a while, and then I got
Yeah.
it when the hacks were at their last stages, so it looked awesome.
Wait, what is the last game you can get on there? Like in terms of Street Fighter, is it Alpha? Any of the Alpha games on there?
I think you can
Or is
get you can get Alpha 1, 2, and 3 as well.
oh, geez. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Sweet, sweet.
yeah.
Just SNK versus
You got
Capcom. That's
CPS
not
one,
fair.
CPS two, and I think there's some CPS three games as well. You got Street Fighter 3 as well, Third Strike.
Oh,
On
awesome,
there,
awesome.
yeah.
That's what I wanted.
You got the crossovers, Capcom vs SNK ones and stuff like
Yeah, they're
that.
both the Capcom version of that.
I think
The Capcom
I think so.
SNK.
There's a
Or
lot
did
of
you
there's a
get
lot of
the big one?
I think it's the SVC versus Capcom.
Yeah,
I, that's
the
the SNK one. I
yeah,
don't know
that's
if
the name.
I think they got the Capcom vs SNK. Yeah, they've got that. They've got like the original one as well, Marvel versus Capcom. They got X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah,
Those
that's it.
ones. They've got all of those ones. The ones that came out on the original one, and then
Yeah.
after they got the sequels, I don't think it can play that. Like the PS2 versions of those crossovers, they won't work. But it's brilliant. What's annoying is that I'm excited for like to get the final setup where it looks brilliant, and I'm always just watching the new video as they come. And at the moment, I'm at a stage where I'm sort of waiting because I'm getting the updates from the actual people that are creating these
Yeah.
hacks and themes, and I'm like, should I install it? If I install it, I might get another update that says something else that's been developed. It looks amazing. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna wipe it out and start again. Stuff like that. I like to get the final build, usually,
You have
but
to get 2 controllers. You have to get 2 controllers, right, for it.
you can connect up a secondary controller to it or an arcade stick to it, or you
But
can
they got
plug
like
in.
official Neo Geo ones, right? They've got like official Neo Geo ones with it.
Yeah, they've got that. It's like the SNK CD, Sega CD, SNK CD console.
Yeah, I remember those ones. The 6 button.
4 buttons.
Oh, is it 4? Sorry, is it 4? Okay.
Yeah.
The trigger, the triggers or not?
No triggers.
Oh no. Okay, weird.
They
Okay.
released it, not all the clicky buttons. They released it without the clicky buttons for the SNK arcade stick.
Yeah.
The arcade cabinet mini. So it's originally for that, but those work on this system as well. But yeah, no, I mucked about with a lot of controllers on my video.
Sweet.
You get like a Mayflash Magic S Pro stick, and that basically allows you to use any controllers
Oh, sweet.
on the
Okay.
Player 2. At the moment, the limitation is the fact that they can't do 6 buttons. It recognizes 4 buttons.
Yeah.
The only way to get 6 buttons recognized or 8 buttons with the arcade stick is to get a secondary arcade stick, Neo Geo SNK arcade stick, and I'm like, that's another £130 investment.
Yeah, you get that. Yeah.
Not
yeah.
yet. So I hope they fix that.
The Street Fighter games, you could just do the first 2 buttons as triple punch, triple kick, and then hard punch, hard kick, and then you can get all your moves out properly.
I want 6 buttons, man.
Yeah, of course, that's the
I
idea.
can't play with 6 or without 6 buttons. So that's the only downside at the moment. Once I get that figured out, then I'll be like, yo, call my brother down, call you guys down, and then we're gonna play Street Fighter because they've got all the Street Fighter games on there. It's freaking amazing. It looks clean. Watch the Anthony build of Hilo Stick Pro. He's got SNK games and the Capcom games like done beautifully. He's got like a red theme for SNK games, and he's got like a blue theme with yellow icons with Capcom, and it looks clean. Like, I love it. So yeah, so at the moment they're developing it, they're getting better things up, so I'm waiting. Once I got the one that I feel like I'm happy with, I'm gonna install it again and wipe over the previous one that I done.
Yeah. Sweet.
Listen, I need to go, man, but listen, thanks a lot for coming on. And just drop out the convo. I'll end this. But thanks a lot for coming on, man.
No problem, man. We'll catch up.
I'll catch you later. Yeah, take it easy, bro.